stick.
We're getting slaughtered down here. Space, time.
Are nerds.
Left your party at sundown. You were nowhere to be found. Sip my bottle, heading uptown. Ooh, long way home, the back roads. No hands on the handle. Blew the red light like a candle. The wind undid my hair like it knew you weren't there. Boys like you never play fair. Don't play fair. I'm on a midnight bike ride. There's orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. How could you think we could just be friends again? I'm on a midnight bike ride. There's orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. Now that you know things can never be the same. City has no secrets. I know all the shortcuts. Now I'm lost looking for your touch. Used to be your night shift. Can't work out, I might just fly downhill until the sun lifts. Found an empty street, sing myself a melody about how it used to be. Wind undid my hair like it knew you weren't there. Boys like you never play fair. I'm on a midnight bike ride. There's orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. How could you think we could just be friends again? I'm on a midnight bike ride. There's orders 2 a.m. Left you behind. Now that you know things can never be the same.
Hello and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We've got a two-state affair coming at you tonight. Of course, we know Boise State representing Idaho, and we'll have three games, all from teams in the state of California. So a little bit of interstate rivalry going on. I know a lot of people in Idaho think California's coming to take over from time to time, so we'll see if the Broncos can fight back for their state. We'll have UCI, USC, and Cal tonight, 2 in Overwatch, and then 1 in Rainbow Six to wrap things up. I am Michael Fisher, going to be joined by Nerdy Bird here to kick off the Overwatch portion of the broadcast, the Tespa Invitational for the Boise State team, the blue team, if you will, if you're keeping tabs between the two sides, going to be representing the Broncos here, kicking things off against UCI. And Nerdy Bird, how are you doing today? I think you might be muted, Nerdy. At least on our end, you're muted. Let's figure out that one, and we'll keep along. We'll keep tabs on Nerdy. So we do have a special intro, though, coming up for Overwatch here that we'll go take a look at while we try and get everything else sorted out on the other side. Saw that nice little one by John Relna. Chosen there. He's a recruit for Boise State. He's a high school senior. He's working with programs like the Atlanta Reign and more. They won him on the team for his Overwatch skills, but he always has a shot as well as a nice little video editor. So a nice little piece put together there by Chosen, as we said, one of the potential recruits for Boise State, trying to get him here to play Overwatch so he can maybe put himself in his own video. But just a little snippet of what we've seen so far for Boise State. Has definitely been a very, very strong semester for the Broncos, both in NACE and NECC, where the teams have rarely suffered setbacks when they aren't playing each other. I believe only one school, Midland University, has beaten Boise State so far this season in any of those events. But we're shifting gears to the Tespa Varsity Overwatch Invitational. 16 universities in 2 groups of 8, round robin in the groups. These are top varsity programs that were selected from hundreds of applicants. You had to send in a ton of things, including what your arena looked like, no plans, what the actual arena looked like. So Boise State, of course, has an excellent one. We're hoping we can, of course, get everyone in here at some point. You can see the schools in the Broncos groups: Cal, USC, UCLA, Oregon, Fresno State, UCI, and Northwood. So a ton of top schools. I know, at least on the other group, one of the headline programs is Mizzou, who has been phenomenal in almost any esport game they played. So a ton of really good teams, a great place for Boise State to separate themselves, put themselves in that upper echelon of Overwatch programs. As we mentioned, it'll be UCI and USC. The Anteaters and the Trojans, the two opponents tonight for Boise State. We'll actually have Cal in Rainbow Six, not in the Overwatch portion, but still, it is an all-Idaho versus California affair tonight. You can see the players up there on the stage getting ready to go here, getting ready to show that Boise and the state of Idaho fighting back against the California Insurgent. And I know there's been a lot of talk about California coming into Boise State, coming into this Idaho area, so the Broncos going to try and fight back against them. Kicking things off with UCI, who is a very, very top program in Overwatch. They're considered top 4. They're right up there with the Mizzous of the world. So this is an excellent proving ground for Boise State. Show what they can do against the Anteaters. Broncos and Anteaters going at it here very momentarily. Tespa Invitational. This is it for Boise State. They've been killing it in the NACE. They've been killing it in the NECC. But if there's a competition that the Broncos want to win, it's probably this one. This is the tournament to have a good showing, to start to put yourself in that upper echelon of esports teams that Boise State, of course, wants to be a part of. Also nice to see that there was another Mountain West school in the Invitational. Fresno State in the group. The Bulldogs, one of the newer programs there, but they do have a varsity Overwatch team, so they're definitely ready to go. Does look like I thought I heard Nerdy Bird in my headset. So we're hopefully going to have that one work. Yep, there we go. There's Nerdy. We can hear. So, Nerdy, now that we've got you back, how you liking this Boise State, California night we've got going here?
Honestly, I'm really excited because, when I think of really big schools that are advanced as far as, social, everything that's going on campus, the clubs that they have, it always feels like the schools coming out of California are kind of a step ahead when it comes to that sort of stuff. When you think of the headquarters of, various technology centers, whether it's Google, well, my first one that comes to my head is Google, honestly. So, Silicon Valley, that kind of stuff, all California. So I'm like, if the technology hub's there, the gaming hub is going to be there too. So obviously they have a huge advantage with that type of pool already available. So it's kind of their time to step up and show us what they got. And I'm pretty sure they have a pretty high bar set for their expectations of how they're going to do tonight.
Yeah, especially with how they've been playing in NACE and NECC, rarely losing a match in that one. So, yeah, I'm really excited, as you mentioned, to be. It really feels like anytime you see some sort of collegiate esport, it's either Mizzou or some school from California, as you mentioned, that is winning. So this is going to be a good measuring stick. I know UCI, from what I've heard from the coaches, from production, is a top Overwatch team. So even a loss, if you maybe get 3 points, if you go to overtime, if you're able to stick with them on control, definitely going to go a long way in saying, hey, we're here to play. We're almost on that level. So we're going to get to that very shortly. Of course, we got Doc's keys to the game. Win the first fight, stabilize and reset if needed, melt the same target, and tanks take up that space. All brought to you by Count, whose Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and a personalized customer experience for more than 9,000 leading plans and payment providers. They help you personalize your user experience across a full spectrum of trust. So if you want more information, you can go check them out at count.com. That is KOUNT.com. As we have Boise State UCI kicking things off here on Ilios is going to be the first map, is what I'm hearing here on Control. And the Broncos definitely got their work cut out for them, but they're on a hot streak right now, Nerdy. So there's a time to strike on a top-rated team. This has got to be the semester for the Broncos because everything has been going their way so far.
Oh, I completely agree. You've already got the hype train going. Let's just keep it going straight into this match right here against UCI.
We see there the Broncos going to be in red, the Anteaters going to be in blue, and it looks like for now we're going to be looking at mirror comps here.
4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Capture.
Yeah, we actually do see, however, that we got Plato on the side of Boise State choosing to go with Tracer over the traditional Reaper pick that we have been seeing. And based off of who engages and where these engages happen, that could either play to an advantage or disadvantage for the side of Boise State.
They're going to have Goblin on the Somber as well. We've heard Frost is the main Somber player, but we do see Goblin expanding that champion pool. He's going to get the hack onto PG1. Doesn't look like there's going to be too much damage coming out for now, as it looks like the Broncos are the one sitting on the point as it has unlocked. 5 members for Boise State. Now the Anteater's going to push in, try and get Boise State off. You can see Guac is dropping low. PG1's going to pick up a pair. Nice hack onto Kel as well, coming out from Fade. That's going to seal his fate. And unfortunately for Boise State, that's a team kill for the Anteaters, and they're going to get the point.
Yeah, and also the Anteaters across the board are looking like all of their ultimates are going to be coming online during this next fight. Their lowest is their Lucio, however, he can easily get that up. Or on the side of Boise State, we've got Plato just now switching over to that Reaper pick for a perfect mirror of the side of UCI, but that means his ult is going to be borderline 0 during this next engage, and that's going to be a major down point for the side of Boise State.
Okay, see the EMP is up. Nice 6-man EMP from Frade right on cue. That's going to take 3 Broncos down, cancel out the Coalescence. Hell Judge threw his at the Boise State Broncos, and they're going to lose 5 members.
Yeah, and all it took was that one EMP, so on the side of UCI, they've got plenty of ultimates ready to go. Granted, Coalescence is kind of on cooldown for both teams, so we can disregard that cooldown. But Boise State did manage to spy out the Sombra on the side of UC Irvine, so that is fantastic. This next engage is going to be a 5v6 as we see that EMP that doesn't quite go off, and only seeing 2 go down on the side of UC Irvine.
And she used the Death Blossom, didn't get it. A Go's going to get 1 with the Primal Rage, but the Broncos have picked up 4 now with the Go going down. PG1 going to fall as well. CapGod has respawned, but Boise State's going to flip the point. See the Broncos sitting on 3 ults, potentially the Death Blossom, but the sound barrier up for CapGod means he can stop any engage that does want to come out. Large Bagel has his as well. Right now, Guac dropping low, hack onto a Go. He's going to survive easily from that one, and he wants to jump right on to a Large Bagel. Sound barrier from CapGod going to come out. Coalescence has been used by Asu, and Plato gets taken down with the Death Blossom still available as well as the sound barrier. Kel going to throw in the Diva Bomb, doesn't pick up anything. Primal Rage going to come out. Hell Judge going to use the Coalescence as well. Asu just using his, and right now Boise State barely holding on. They have lost a couple of members, however. CapGod does go down. Dancy's going to pick up Asu though, and now Boise State does have a couple members running back into the fight. You see a Large Bagel trying to stay on the point and contest. Guac's going to go down on that play. Plato almost goes down again. A Large Bagel boots off the edge, and Boise State's going to be forced to concede the point here.
Survival of the fellow. Hey.
Not sure if we've either lost Nerdy or if I'm just no longer able to hear her in her headphones. So we'll have to see if we can get her back in the action extremely soon and maybe provide a nice little boost to the Broncos, who currently need to find a way to win this next fight. Both EMPs online. A Large Bagel does have the sound barrier, and we do see both Death Blossoms up as well. There's a 3-man EMP onto the Anteaters, plus the Death Blossom. That's going to combo for 2, and PG1 is going to get pushed out of the mech. Large Bagel going to land one onto Fade as well. Primal Rage has been popped by a Go, and he's going to be able to take down Goblin, but nothing more for the side of the Anteaters. Point ticking up into the high 90s. A Go going to get knocked off the edge, and PG1's also going to get forced out of the mech on the point and taken down as well. And Boise State preventing overtime, going to cap this thing and flip it at 96 to 64. Mission Nerdy Bird on the cast, still trying to get Nerdy Bird back in here after some technical errors. Fade has been hacked, does have the EMP online, as well as the Death Blossom, and there it is. 4-man EMP, sound barrier tried to be used, but unfortunately those shields just immediately fell apart for Boise State. As you can see, 3 members have gone down. Coalescence has been committed by Asu and Hell Judge, and the Broncos getting pushed back. Hack onto a Large Bagel. He's the last remaining member on the point, and this looks like it's going to be a flip for UC Irvine and a potential overtime situation for Boise State. Can they get back to the point in time? They were scattered enough that potentially looks like Guac was on the verge, but he's going to get taken down. Plato goes rushing in using the Rage Form to try and get in. He will unfortunately go down as well. You can start to see Boise State really not going to be in a good position to contest here. Kel getting knocked out of the mech. Goblin and Asu both going to be taken down. Kel's going to join in on the parade, and Boise State will lose that point, but a very closely fought battle, 100 to 90. So the first point on Ilio is going to go over to the side of UC Irvine.
1-0.
Take a look at some of the stats here. It was an actual very big win for the side of the Anteaters. 31 kills to only 13 deaths, and 2 of those were self-destructs. So Boise State, you could see, despite getting the 90%, only picked up 11 eliminations and had 31 deaths. So very one-sided towards the Anteaters, but Boise State finding a way to sort of brute force their way and stay alive, but the Broncos have got to find a way to win this next match.
5,
Wait, do we?
3, 2,
Oh, looks like we do have Nerdy Bird back. Nerdy, how are you?
Yes.
We have you.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
And I am very happy that I am back. I'm going to blame that last round, honestly, on my audio issues. So Boise State did not have the driving audio force they needed from us in order to come out victorious. So let's see if this round can go a little bit better as we dive in here on Ruins, watching Kel try to find a good spot on the back line to jump in while trying to not lose his mech first.
Hack gonna go onto a go, gonna shut down the dive coming out from the Anteaters, and Kel's gonna try and do what he can, but Plato gonna get either knocked off the edge or just straight fall off the edge. Did not see. A large bagel's gonna go down as well. Kel forced out of the mech. He will be the next target. I'm sure he goes down, so will Guac. So the Anteaters gonna pick up another win, and they're gonna start with the point.
Yeah, but thankfully, going into this first engage, Boise State had the comp that they wanted. There's no character swaps having to come out on their side. So we're about equal as far as ultimates go. However, Fade, of course, has that EMP ready. Fade has been on top of that Somber game this entire match, whereas we really only have Asu's ult on the side of Boise State. And we see that EMP first come out, and Goblin, unfortunately, is going to go down immediately.
The rest of Boise State's going to join in on that one. Another team kill for UC Irvine. I mean, you called it, Nerdy Bird. Fade's EMPs, his Somber play, really been driving the ship for UC Irvine.
Yes, but now Boise State will be having their EMP blast ready to go part of the way through this next engage, so they can time that properly with one of their own ultimates, or if they're able to engage on the same target, it can be a really juicy EMP just like the one that was for UCI, but that depends on how Boise State follows up the EMP.
He's coalesced into the Primal Rage for Boise State and UC Irvine off screen. Goblin trying to stay alive, but meanwhile the Broncos, nice jump by Guac to stay alive and not get self-destructed. But you see a go has knocked Asu off the edge with the Primal Rage. Guac's now going to pop his as the Broncos realize they've got to get in on the point. They still have the EMP and they have 5 members alive. A go's going to go down. Health just dropping low. The Broncos now sitting up 1. PG1 forced out of the mech, immediately taking it down, and Boise State seeing their opportunity. They're going to jump on the point. Nice reset there by the Anteaters.
Yeah, Boise State now is sitting on 4 ultimates for the side of the Anteaters. They're going to have their Death Blossom ready to go, as well as their EMP, and Cap God is going to have Sound Barrier. It's going to be a matter of who uses their ultimate in a more advantageous manner in this next engage, not so much who presses Q first, because these ultimates heavily rely on placement.
There's the EMP from Fade. Goblin answers right back. 4 and 5 members respectively, and it's the Broncos ahead thanks to a huge sound barrier from a large bagel. Cap got out of sit on his, and that changed the fight. PG1 hack. He's out of the mech. He'll jump off, and the Broncos the nice win.
Going into this next fight, the side of UCI is going to have both of their support ults, as well as most likely both their tankles, whereas Boise State is only going to have Kel with his self-destruct ready to go. Boise State is going to have to defend point hard, take this fight very quickly in order to force out those ults early to make sure they have a little bit more even ult economy.
Kel's going to get hacked and launch off the Diva Bomb. Nothing going to be found there. And he and Boise State going to be down 1. A near boot from a large bagel. Not going to quite land. Danchi's going to do the work now. He's going to pick up Plato and Guac. Going to get another Primal Rage onto Asu. A boop off the edge onto a large bagel. And just like that, Boise State's got to concede the point.
Yeah, we've only got one more. We are in one fight territory, so to speak, for Boise State, depending on how long it takes them to actually touch this point. If we can get it going into overtime, we're only going to see a couple of minutes. Well, actually, we're probably only going to see one fight take place here. If Boise State cannot touch, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of this round.
Aggro sound barrier from Cap God to try and allow the Anteaters to body block, and it's going to work out perfectly as both DPS for the Broncos fall. Coalesced by Asu going to be used, trying to sustain the health bars. You can see Kel has jumped in on the point as we near overtime, and he's going to be knocked out of the mech and be taken down as well. Boise State's got some respawns. Can they hold on? There's a 2-man EMP plus the Death Blossom. Guac used the Primal Rage, and he's right now the only surviving member. Asu in a large bagel fall. Guac will be the next one taken out. Diva Bomb going to be used by PG1 to try and phase off the point, and it's going to be enough for the Anteaters to pick up their first victory of the night. They're going to take Ilios and go up 1-0 here in this best of 3.
Honestly, I gotta say, there was really nothing wrong with the comps that UCI came out with. Obviously, Boise State made the mistake of coming out first with a Tracer when we should have had a Reaper. That is something that just comes down to what is that player comfortable with on that day, and unfortunately, they flipped a coin, so to speak, in their head, and the 50-50 shot did not land in their favor.
Yeah, taking a quick look at the stats, though, it was an improvement. As we mentioned, it was a 31-11 kill-death ratio for UCI last time. This time only 22-10, so the Broncos cut down on the deaths, dropping about 10. They had the same number of eliminations, but you have to like how Boise State was a little bit more careful, wasn't as reckless in some of those fights, and wasn't as close as the first map, but you have to think it was a better played map from Boise State that time.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like the engages were more organized and the reset times were a lot shorter this time around.
You see some of the members of the Overwatch team up on the stage there, trying to get some good luck in our Tespa Invitational, taking on UCI first and then USC to follow things up. It is a best of 3, so the Broncos got to find a way to come back here as we go over to, I believe, Hybrid going to be the next thing coming up here. Going to be curious to see what the Broncos want to pick. But if you are interested in potentially being one of those people on the stage at some point, Boise State is always looking for talented players, production and broadcast talent. Top talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can earn you scholarships as well. You can sign up today by visiting boisestate.edu/esports for more information. I, of course, have not had the luxury like you have, Nerdy, to be up on that stage. I got up there once for a scrim because we were killing time and we were just playing some League of Legends with some of the other casters. It's a different environment from playing at your house to being up on that stage, especially when there's people in the arena. I can only imagine how awesome it was when you were up there.
Yeah, I can't really compare it to any other experience I've ever had in my life, and so therefore it's unexplainable, unfortunately, and I feel really horrible explaining it like that. I'm sorry, but genuinely there's just an energy and atmosphere that you get from being on stage versus down in the crowd that is so vastly different that it makes the experience memorable for both the audience and the players each and every game.
Yeah, if you're ever interested, check it out. I mean, we've seen a ton of high school teams on the stream from time to time, so esports definitely growing. I mean, as we mentioned, of course, I'm sure your parents will... They might be mad at you for playing video games if you tell them, hey, Mom, Dad, I can get a scholarship for this. Their tune will flip immediately. Trust me. Even as someone who couldn't get this, the word scholarship comes out of your mouth, Mom and Dad are immediately listening. But it is Boise State, UCI. We're heading over to Hollywood here. See if the Broncos can answer back and force us into a Game 3.
Yeah, and we're going, if they stick with these picks, Boise State is going to be coming out of this one with a Pharah, but no Mercy pick, as we see Asu is going to be on the Moira, who typically would be our Mercy in that case. And we see that UCI is going to be swapping things up a tiny bit and returning to the ever so faithful Reinhardt-Zarya combo, but they are sticking with their Reaper and their Sombra. And I definitely feel like the DPS on the side of UCI have been popping off these last couple of rounds, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, Fade has been a thorn in the side of the Broncos. Quick note for any Anteater fans, does look like a go has been taken out, Stadium put in, so you have to think that they're just more confident with him on the Reinhardt. So we'll see if that pays off for him. Otherwise, everyone else is the same. That we saw in Game 1 on Control, UCI victory. Hack going to go out onto Plato. Nothing from Goblin, you can see the difference. 46% for Fade, 20% from Goblin as he's forced to translocate away as he was dropping incredibly low. The Broncos up on the high ground, Shield still holding from both sides. Now we're going to go into a hammer fight here. It looks like the Broncos get the first elimination onto Stadium, and they're going to jump down. Hack onto Capcom. He's going to be able to recover. Goblin and Guac both low. A 5-man EMP that quickly into the fight. Boise State loses 2. Fade does pay for it, but you have to think that was worth it. Nice job by Asu holding the Coalescence and allowing Boise State to answer back. They're going to take down Danchi and Hell Judge, and Boise State's going to survive one of the fastest EMPs I have ever seen and get the payload.
I mean, yes, I will not lie, my jaw just dropped during that EMP. As fantastic as it was, how quickly it was developed, unfortunately, there was just not enough on the side of UCI for follow-up in order for their team to capitalize on that. So unfortunately, Fade, you would have been better off hanging on to that and waiting for the next fight, my friend, as Boise State now can go into this next fight not worried about an EMP blast and kind of throw a few ults, so to speak.
See, a large bagel has been hack grabs, comes out. Boise State going to lose 3 in combination with the Coalescence. Danchi gets another one, and just like that, Boise State this time at the mercy of the ults. But I like them holding on to their EMP and their Death Blossom.
Oh yeah, for sure, but going into this next one, now they definitely are going to have a Death Blossom and Shatter ready. Fade most likely by the end of the fight is going to have their EMP blast up once again, so Boise State needs to run headlong into this fight and make sure that they take UCI before UCI is ready to set up.
Ultimate's thrown yet. Hack onto Goblin, and he's going to get hit by the Shatter. Really well played by the side of UC Irvine, shutting down that EMP for another fight. You have to think Boise State probably wants to retreat. The 2 Reapers going at it. Nice raid form away by Plato to just barely stay alive. Can't quite get the teleport off, though, to get back into the spawn. We saw the EMP by Fade just coming there as well to the other members of Boise State. Interesting strategy for the Broncos to keep pushing without Goblin alive. That's going to be a little bit of a questionable reset there for Boise State.
Yeah, Boise State also is going to be going into this next fight with 5 ultimates online, but we've seen UCI pull off full takes and full team kills with only 1 ultimate, whether it be an EMP blast or a Reaper ult. So this is going to be on the side of Boise State to make sure they're ready.
Nice EMP Death Blossom combo gonna come out. Not responsible for any of the eliminations, but the Broncos still gonna pick up 2. There's Dancy's own Death Blossom, not gonna get anything. Coalescence from Hellgun comes out, and a large bagel will be taken out by Fade. Plato though is gonna pop back, bang, bang. 2 down. Goblin gets capped out in the back line, and Fade goes down as well. First win for Boise State after the payload's unlocked, and that's when they need it.
Going into this next fight, we have PG on the side of UCI, who has their Graviton Surge ready, so a large bagel is going to have to be dodging Fade and avoiding those hacks, as well as avoiding getting caught in that Graviton Surge himself so he doesn't die too quickly in order to pop off his down barrier.
Kel's gonna throw in the Devo bomb, get a couple hit markers. Grab is going to come out, but a shield holding from Guac. Unfortunately, he's gonna be taken down, and so is a large bagel, so no sound barrier could be used. Goblin does get Fade, but that's the only elimination for the Broncos as they lose Goblin and Kel very quickly. Asu dropping low, gonna try and blink away. Doesn't the coalescence, but goes down. Plato waiting for the rest of his team.
It's really interesting to see these ult rotations coming out from the side of UCI. It almost feels like they are most definitely planning to use their ults in a 2-2 style, so to speak, each time, so there's always one that's going to be charging and ready to go whenever they need it. Whereas Boise State's kind of all come online at the same time, so they have no choice but to use them all almost in the same pattern, and I feel like that's playing in their disadvantage right now.
Shatter online for UC Irvine. Both support alt up for Boise State. A Shatter coming very quickly. EMP online for Fade. Goblin might get his, but we've seen how aggro Fade has been. And just like that, he's going to land it on 2. Guac immediately goes down. Soundberry Coalesce is committed by Boise State, and they're holding on. Shatter's going to land onto both supports for the Broncos. Can they survive it? Looks like the Death Blossom doing a nice job distracting. And there's a 4-5-man EMP coming out from Goblin. He's going to answer right back. Dancy, the first one, take it down. Cap God and Stadium being the target. Stadium is falling. Cap God barely hanging on. Helljudge actually the next one taken down. You can see Cap God in the middle of the Broncos team for an incredible amount of time, finally taken down, and the Broncos allowed to push.
This will heal you.
I'm not gonna lie, that fight as a whole was just incredible and beautiful to watch. I have nothing to nitpick about that. I'm scared of Fade, in all honesty. Fade is going to either flip this next fight in favor of BSU or against in favor of BSU.
Huge Shatter came out for Guac. That's a triple kill for the Broncos. As you mentioned, Fade does have the EMP. Looks like Dancy had just given up by having the Wraith Form active, so the Broncos going to get the second point, but it's still, I mean, yes, you get the time extension. You have to think the next fight EMP Blossom from the Anteaters.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or it's just going to be an EMP coming out, and then there isn't going to be a need for another ultimate, as will just be a full team wipe, just that much power and follow-up behind it, with the way UC Irvine's been playing thus far. But we do think Kel is chilling out on another self-destruct, and Plato's got another Death Blossom almost ready to go, so we could see some awesome 2K, 3K, maybe 4K kills coming from the side of Boise State as well.
Large Bagel nearly has the sound barrier. Cap God has his. Grab online as well, so is the Shatter. UC Irvine going to have a whole cocktail of choices. There's the EMP, lands onto 4. There's a Shatter going to land onto 2 as well. Death Blossom still being held onto. Both sound barriers have been thrown down, and Guac's the first one who's going to be taken out. Fade dropping low, going to be able to translocate away. Shadow Step coming out from Plato, and the Broncos just simply want to retreat after taking all those ultimates away from the Anteaters, and it looks like they're going to do just that.
Yeah, honestly, that was a strategic retreat from the side of Boise State. They've got 3 huge ultimates in their pockets now, and there's not going to be a sound barrier from the side of UCI in order to save them if they're in bad spots during this EMP that we see coming out right now from the Goblin.
Yeah, the 4-man EMP came out. Death Blossom from Plato's going to pick up 2. Dancy wants to answer back with the grab coming out from PG1 as he was taken out. And the Anteaters able to pick up a couple nearly from the grave and start to push Boise State back. So for a great start, the Broncos aren't going to get much. Hack onto Dancy trying to stop the chase down. And it looks like Boise State should be able to reset.
Yeah, unfortunately, Boise State didn't get as much of a push as they deserved that time. Just the amount of time it took for those ultimates to be used was just too long, so the respawns were in the favor of UCI, the Anteaters, and so now this is going to be Boise State's one-fight territory, so to speak, depending on how staggered they are after this engage right here.
There's going to be the Diva Bomb to start. Unfortunately going to hit a wall, so not probably the length he wanted. Hack onto Goblin, but the Broncos with that coalescence from Asu going to be able to pick up 3, make it 4, 5, 6 for Boise State. That's a team kill. That might be a cap.
Let's hope that is, but we do see that the Anteaters do have 2 huge ultimates plus their coalescence, but it's not going to matter. They're not even going to have the opportunity to touch the payload.
Great job by Boise State, kind of catching the Anteaters off guard. I mean, that wasn't a power ult there. That was just a simple coalescence thrown out by Asu, and Boise State just said, hey, let's go. So a great shot call from the Broncos. And getting 3 points on a team like UCI definitely going to go a long way. We'll see if the Broncos defense can hold and take us to a game 3.
I honestly really hope this can go into a game 3. I'd love to see these games play out as long as possible. Granted, both these matches did not fall in favor of Boise State, but they were very equally matched on both sides. It's just a matter of who played a little bit better and which situation that determines who wins.
Yeah, Boise State actually getting the kill win for the first time. Of course, just a little bit attacker favored, but it was a 32-24 kills to deaths for Boise State that time. So we'll see how the Broncos can handle it on defense now. And it looks like for UC Irvine, nothing's really going to change from either side.
Yeah, no, actually, there's a slight change coming from the side of Boise State. Nope, never mind, because Guac was on the Reinhardt to start with the last round as well, so you are right. Neither side's changing things up too much. This is, hopefully it's going to come down to a very quick first engage, and Boise State gets a full cap after first fight, but we'll have to wait and see.
Once again, the Mando watch for UC Irvine has been fade. I would think nearly a sub-minute EMP came out on the very first fight where Boise State was attacking. So him and Goblin, who's going to be the better Sombra? I know Goblin, not something we've seen a lot out of, but definitely something that you like to see him learning how to pick up if needed. And right now, Boise State could use a huge play from him here. UC Irvine going to push on the low ground of the Broncos. Actually going to jump down to engage. Goblin is going to get hacked out there by a fade. Going to slow him down just a little bit in terms of building the ult. It looks like the Anteaters want to go all the way around, take the very long road past point 2. Now they want to engage. Nothing coming out now. You see a charge in from Stadium. He's the first one taken down. Goblin still trying to find a hack. Can't quite do anything because of line of sight. You do see fade in on the back line. Sombra's going at it. Translocator is there. Goblin wants to try and find that kill. Can't quite find it, unfortunately. We'll take the health pack and then stealth away. Off screen, got walking to pick up Hell Judge. Coalescence has been used by Asu. And right now, Boise State doing a great job. And a nice little back cap there from Stadium. Goblin, though, is there. He's able to contest it. Meanwhile, Fade will take down Asu. Plato and a large bagel able to answer back. The team continuing to trade even here. Goblin just trying to keep an eye on Stadium. Looks like he's gone away, and the team's opting for a reset.
Yeah, that was a very long, drawn-out fight. However, it did put a huge advantage on the side of UCI as they have basically all their ultimates ready to go, and it's going to be a matter of who hits Q first as to who wins this fight.
Shatter from Guac doesn't look like it's going to land on anything. Helljudd's going to use the Coalescence. Goblin did land a hack onto PG1 with the grab available, but unfortunately for Boise State, that has not been a winning combination. It's Plato and Kel going to be taken out there. Full choice of ultimates alive for UCI, except for the Coalescence. But Boise State just forced to give that one up, and really not a lot of action for Boise State.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was probably a case of most of the players not knowing which Q to hit in which situations, but at least now they're going to have all of their ultimates, including Coalescence, because it's just going to be up and ready to go. Ready to go, except for their Earth Shatter, which is great for Boise State, but they need to be pressing them more advantageously, and they also need to be pairing them up together, as we see Goblin using an EMP, but Boise State was already EMP'd, so there's no follow-up for the side of Boise State on that ultimate.
Yeah, both teams going to throw out the sound barrier, and now the Boise State line's starting to fall. You see Fade picks up 2, Guac has respawned, and the Broncos just first to walk away, despite throwing a couple of ultimates at UCI, a large bagel, and Asu going to go down. Goblin just barely going to survive. That's a free push for UCI for now.
Feeling much better.
Yeah, and their next fight, they're going to have their Death Blossom as well as a Graviton Surge ready to go, so you can almost guarantee that's going to be a team-wipe killer combo right there, as we do not have a defensive ultimate from the side of a large bagel, because Sound Barrier is only a 9% charge.
Not going to land on the Stadium. Asu does have the Coalescence if he can survive being out of the grab. Goblin going to get a nice elimination combo with Plato onto Helljudge. That could open things up for Boise State, who have gone for a flank of their own onto UCI. We're going to see the Coalescence used there. There is a Shatter from Stadium that will whiff. There's the grab going to come out now. Death Blossom from both Reapers going to be used. Plato proving he's the superior one. He's going to get 1 elimination, make it 2. And Boise State with a great little win there to slow down UCI. Going to find Fade out as well. Looks like he was able to translocate away though.
Yeah, Fade translocated away, and of course has EMP ready for the next Aviade, so it's gonna be a matter of how they want to follow that one up. I have a hunch that they might be bold and use it in with Coalescence because we can see how deadly that ultimate is, and we've seen it all the time. We only can hope that Guac is going to be able to block at least one of those ultimates, and Goblin is then able to follow up with an EMP blast afterwards.
There's a 4-man EMP from Fade. It's going to cost Boise State 3 members and a mech. Let's make it 4, and both supports going to try and do what they can. A large bagel will go down. Asu falls as well, and a great team kill for UC Irvine. Going to allow them to keep pushing.
Yes, drive, fight. Boise State did not use anything, and that was fantastic, partially due to the fact they didn't have anything. But now we can look at their ultimates and see that Guac already has his ult ready to go. Diva is soon there to follow. Their EMP blast is online, so they are setting their ducks up right now, and hopefully we'll be able to get a great team kill and push this payload. We'll prevent this payload from getting any further.
There is the EMP from Goblin. Actually, I think full whiffing. The Shatter did land on the 2, but Cathgod's going to sound barrier to prevent anything. A large bagel forced to use his own sound barrier. 3-man Shatter comes out from Stadium, and that's going to spell doom for Guac and potentially the rest of Boise State. You see Kel and Plato dropping low. Plato the first one to go down. Goblin trying to get back into the fight. We'll see what he's able to do. Hack onto Stadium. Kel loses the mech and taken out. A large bagel. Asu going to go down as well, and you have to wonder what happened on that EMP because that unfortunately set up Boise State for a disaster.
I honestly want to know as well, maybe there's a chance we can see that in a replay another time or soon, who knows. Honestly, I could not see exactly what occurred. All I heard was the audio cue and no visual, so it was a canceled ultimate, and that's just sometimes it feels bad, man.
Kel gonna try and use the Diva Bomb as UCI starting to push, able to phase him away. Grab gonna come out from PG1, comboed with the Death Blossom, and that's gonna be able to pick up 3. Nice hack onto Kel to shut down the defense matrix, and he's immediately gonna be taken down. Team kill for UCI, and they're starting to push really quickly now.
We kind of jumped into that mid-fight at a weird angle, but from the looks of it, it seemed like Kel hit Q, just to get his own mech back, and unfortunately what he should have done was hang on to that, give his Lucio a little bit more of a charge there, and never mind as we see another Coalescence and combo coming out with the Death Blossom from the side of UCI, and Kel is just trying to stay alive as we see him take out the Reaper on the side of UCI as well.
He will get hacked. Boise State holding on to the Shatter. Plato going to be taken down, and Boise State right now doing a great job just holding on. Capcom does have the sound barrier, only ultimate up for the side of the Andes. Kel taken out of the mech. There's a 3-man EMP, but a nice sound barrier comes out from Capcom. Guac throws down the Shatter, landed onto a couple, but Boise State was not able to respond. A large bagel with the answer back sound barrier. Not sure they needed it because now the grab comes out. There's no shield for the Broncos. Plato and a large bagel going to go down. Guac will fall as well. Hack onto Kel. Should spell his doom. It's just a matter of moments taken out of the mech. That's a nice cap. Boise State with a little bit of a C9. Not sure would have mattered. And that's going to give UCI double the time advantage in the bank. 2 minutes to 1.
Unfortunately, it feels like Boise State was just one step behind with a lot of their ultimate usage during that last round. We saw EMPs that were getting charged relatively quickly, but you still have to kind of keep track of how often that Fade is able to get those ultimates ready to go, so you know how often you're going to be able to counter them, and it kind of felt like a large bagel was just one step either behind or ahead on each fight when it came to his ults, and so UCI was able to catch the Broncos off guard more than once with those EMPs.
That was interesting. I don't quite know what a large bagel was sound barriering because it was before the grab. It was almost just like an answer back sound barrier. So yeah, I mean, it's been the Lucios and the Sombra played already where it feels like UCI's ult and the EMP and the sound barrier are usually up just a tad quicker, and that allows them to be a lot more aggressive than Boise State over the course of a 3 checkpoint map as we head in overtime.
Yeah, unfortunately, that sort of ultimate charge time, when it's that low, comes down to how much skill and practice time and comfort you have on a hero, and Fade obviously is a fantastic Sombra player, and it's just another goal for Boise State to be able to reach that level of skill with our Sombra players.
Broncos will kick things off first in overtime. Only going to have a minute on the clock to try and get the payload and get it as far as possible. If UC Irvine is able to match them and win, the Anteaters will pick up the series 2-0 here in the Tespa Varsity Invitational. Once again, a high ground hold coming out from UCI. Boise State going to run right on top of them. Health bars dropping low for the Anteaters, and the Broncos doing a great job. We'll see if they're able to knock them off the point. Last time the Anteaters conceded the high ground rather quickly. This time they're willing to duke it out. Now it looks like they've all been pushed off the high ground, and Boise State is going to follow right onto the point. Hack onto Danchi. Nice pick up Cap God to kick things off. Kel is forced out of the mech though. We'll see if he's able to get it back. Right now, really no one focusing on side of the Anteaters. Nice hack onto Stadium. Colas is going to be used by Hellgudge and Asu to try and sustain. No one really dropping low on either side. Walk the only one who's got to be worried. Nice shatter going to come out there onto Stadium, and Danchi, they're able to go Rhine for Rhine. There's a grab, comes out perfectly as Plato uses the Death Blossom, gonna stop any sort of forward momentum he had on that ultimate. Asu gonna go down as well. There's the Death Blossom gonna come out from Danchi. Guac swaps over to the Wrecking Ball, trying to get back on the point as quickly as he can and keep Boise State's hopes alive. Doesn't look like they're going to get much more than add anything, really. I thought they were close to that first tick. That's not the case. So that's going to be a tough task for the Broncos there as they run out of time.
I'm not gonna lie, UCI just did a fantastic job flipping that fight. I thought Boise State had it, that, you know, they were going to be able to at least get a tick, but there was just perfect body rotations coming out from the side of UCI, and they were able to prevent even a single percentage for the side of Boise State throughout that entire 1 minute onslaught. So now if they have two, I wonder how much they'll be able to, how quickly they'll be able to get to the point and get a percentage tick, because that's all they need now.
Yeah, that was a really good grab by PG1 as well. You see Plato had just popped the Death Blossom, kind of gets forced back and really wasted that ultimate. So the other thing I want to say is last time when Boise State was defending, they had the high ground, and as UCI tried to push around, the Broncos gave up the high ground, which was an interesting choice. I'll be curious to see if they'll be as engaged happy here with the Anteaters, or if they're willing to hold up on the high ground this time.
I really hope they don't give it up so fast, because as we've seen time and time again, when you give up the high ground, you basically gave up an entire fight's worth of time and space for your team to claim.
Doesn't look like either team wants to make any sort of swap, so they'll run it back full. Both teams got 3 points on the first round. The Broncos with a minute of overtime got nothing, unfortunately. Big goose egg on their side. So they're going to have to come up with an excellent hold here to take us to the next map. But you have to think UCI is going to have something up their sleeve, just needing one tick on the point.
Yeah, and we do see Fade on that comfort pick of a Sombra, who could easily create a distraction on the side of Boise State and get them off the high ground. So let's hope that doesn't happen too quickly, as we do see Plato take out the Zarya from UCI. So there is at least one fight already taken away in favor of the Broncos.
Interesting to note, the Broncos did once again concede the high ground to go right on top of UCI. Hack onto Capcott, not going to land. PG1 going to come back. UCI, of course, having that extra minute in the bank and allow them to take that fight a little bit slower now, but they are starting to get down into that last minute as they're going to push down through once again. Same spot, Boise State there to answer, and a retreat going to come out from the Anteaters. They're going to go wide back to the archway. Hack's going to land onto Goblin, and this is where Fade's starting to pull away. 70% to 50% on the EMPs. Coalesce is going to start the fights off from Asu and Hellgudge. No one going to be taken down. The Broncos just barely sustaining as Plato and Goblin drop low for a second. Hack once again onto Stadium now, and a hack onto Goblin. As you can see, Fade wasn't on the back line there. EMP grab up for the Anteaters. There's the grab. Soundberry from a large bagel. 3-man EMP going to come out. Death Blossom dropped by Plato, and that's going to pick up Fade. Cap God throws down his own Soundberry. There's a 5-man EMP from Goblin. Could this be a chance for Boise State? Fortunately, the shatter from Guac is going to miss, and he'll be taken down. Danchi going to use a Death Blossom. He will go down as well. So a couple of ults wasted. 2-man shatter onto both Bronco supports coming out from Stadium now. Time starting to drop low. Coalescence for the second time already being dropped in this fight. Kel getting hacked. He's going to be taken out of the mech, but he'll use the Diva Bomb there just to reset health as well as on the point to try and phase away. Another grab coming out from PG1. That's going to be able to take down Plato. Goblin swapping over to Doomfish. He's not going to have much luck. We're into overtime. If the Broncos can win a fight, they would be able to take this and at least force UCI from, or stop UCI from getting getting a win. Unfortunately, you can see the eliminations not going the Broncos' favor. That bar getting extremely close. It is going to cap, but what a defensive effort from the Broncos there.
Yeah, that was beautiful on both sides, and I was very happy to see the Doomfist come out, though I was not shocked that Fade was not the one to swap over to Doomfist, because that Sombra was too important to swap.
That was just, I know it was an extended engage, but the fact that we saw 2 Coalescences, 2 Graviton Surges coming out from UCI, I mean, just how fast the Anteaters building their ultimates, that was incredibly impressive. You could see why they are one of the top programs in the country collegiately.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, they had a rhythm that was just insane to even watch. It was, I guess, adrenaline and heart-pumping rhythms, so to speak, would be the best way to put it, even though there was no music to go along with it. But it was extremely fast-paced and incredible to watch.
So we prepare for the game against USC. Wouldn't it be great if by playing a game you could level up yourself instead of just an on-screen character? It's now possible. Your actual speed, strength, and endurance will help you win through the Black Box VR Arena, making it a more futuristic sport than a video game. Follow Boise State Esports on Twitch to see the upcoming Black Box VR events. And if you want more information, check out their website, blackbox-vr.com. I've done some VR just, in terms, I know there's a VR arcade actually right by the arena, but I've seen this advertisement a couple of times, and I will say the VR fitness has definitely caught my eye. That sounds like something that you can't beat playing a video game to, like they said, not only level up your on-screen character, but to level up yourself as well. The future is awesome. I just got to say that right now.
I mean, as a VR owner and an avid VR player, I can definitely tell you that playing a video game that doubles as a workout is very fun, and it's great that I can do it inside because my allergies don't flare up.
Boom. I mean, if there was ever more of a ringing endorsement, I'd love to see it because, I'm excited. Like I said, blackbox-vr.com. If you want more information, you can also keep an eye out for their upcoming events on the Boise State Twitch page. Well, we are going to head on to the next event here in the Tespa Invitational. Like we said, it's an Idaho, California affair. California gets 1 for now, but the Broncos going to try and answer back. It will be Boise State USC in our next matchup here in the Tespa Invitational. And it going to be an interesting one. Before we do that, though, we're going to take a short break. We'll have our top 5 plays. We'll be right back, see if Idaho can even things up, taking on California.
So that is fantastic. This next engage is going to be a 5v6 as we see that EMP that doesn't quite go off, and only seeing 2 go down onto the side of UC Irvine.
And she used the Death Blossom, didn't get it. A Go's going to get 1 with the Primal Rage, but the Broncos have picked up 4 now with the Go going down. PG1 going.
We've seen UCI pull off full takes and full team heals with only 1 ultimate, whether it be an EMP blast or a Reaper ult. So this is going to be on the side of Boise State to make sure they're ready.
Nice EMP Death Blossom combo going to come out. Not responsible for any of the eliminations, but the Broncos still going to pick up 2. There's Dancy's own Death Blossom. Not going to get anything. Coalescence from Eljud comes out.
Or if they're able to engage on the same target, it can be a really juicy EMP, just like the one that was for UCI. But that depends on how Boise State follows up the EMP.
It's Coalescence, the Primal Rage for Boise State and UC Irvine off screen. Goblin trying to stay alive, but meanwhile the Broncos, nice jump by Guac to stay alive and not get self-destructed. But you see a
one fight territory, so to speak, depending on how staggered they are after this engage right here.
It's going to be the Diva Bomb to start. Unfortunately going to hit a wall, so not probably the length he wanted. Hack onto Goblin, but the Broncos with that Coalescence from Asu going to be able to pick up 3, make it 4, 5, 6 for Boise State. That's a team kill. That might be a cap.
Nothing to nitpick about that. I'm scared of Fade, in all honesty. Fade is going to either flip this next fight in favor of BSU or against favor of BSU.
Huge shatter came out for Guac. That's a triple kill for the Broncos. As you mentioned, though, Fade does have the EMP. Looks like Dancy had just given up by having the Rainform active, so the Broncos going to get. Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're moving right along with the second match of the night, still in the Overwatch Collegiate Varsity Series. The Broncos dropping a tough one to UCI, 2-0, but they'll try and answer it right back. Boise State, USC, Broncos and Trojans going at it here. Michael Fisher joined alongside by Nerdy Bird to call all of the action. You have to say, though, Dirty, even though it was a 2-0 loss to UCI, a lot of good plays from Boise State, getting all 3 points on Hollywood and taking it to overtime against the Anteaters, who are a top 4 team from everything I've heard in Overwatch. You've got to feel really confident going to the USC game that Boise State probably not going to get 2-0 again and might even flip the script on the Trojans.
I mean, no doubt Boise State has the capability to go toe-to-toe with both of these schools, and unfortunately, though, the scores don't reflect it. They were very evenly matched games. Yes, UCI definitely has a skill that's slightly higher than that of Boise State's, but it's definitely attainable skill levels for that of the Boise State players, so it's not like that was a discouraging game to play at all. If anything, it was very encouraging because of how often they were able to flip the fights that they were in and how often they were able to sustain in fights that even honestly I believed they were going to lose before the fight even started.
Yeah, I mean, really, it felt like the difference was just the Sombra play. I mean, we talked about, we've seen Goblin on a ton of things. I know we've said he can play anything. It's usually not the Sombra. We've seen some other members of the Boise State team be the Sombra player. So for the first time we've seen it, he played really well. It just, unfortunately, he went in against Fade, who made it seem like that champion was almost a Moira in a sense of how fast and how often he had his EMPs. So if Goblin can get even, 70% of what we saw from Fade, Boise State should just wipe the floor with USC, I'll be honest.
Oh, yeah, of course. So hopefully there was even a tiny bit of time to analyze Fade's gameplay on the side, well, for Goblin at least, and he's able to take that information into this next game and just improve his Sombra skill all that much more.
Have to see how this kicks off, as you see there in the Tespa Varsity Overwatch Invitational. 16 universities, 2 groups of 8, round robin in the groups. These were top varsity programs that were selected from over 100 applicants. You can see the Broncos group there at the bottom of your screen. Cal, USC, UCLA, Oregon, fellow Mountain West member Fresno State, UCI, and Northwood alongside the Broncos. UCI picked up 1. Let's see if Boise State can go 1-1 here to wrap up our first day of action going against the USC there, but definitely some other very regional schools. So these would, potential recruits on the line. Another Mountain West school in Fresno State as well. You love to see it, but just getting invited to an event like this shows you how respected the Boise State program is. So they definitely want to show why they should continue to be brought back to events like this.
Oh, yeah, of course. And it's always good to see new events getting started, and getting invited to the new events every time that they pop up is just so happy and joyful for us to experience.
Take one more look at Doc's keys to the game before the Bronco-Trojan matchup here. Win the first fight, stabilize and reset if needed, like how they did that a lot of the times against UCI. Melt the same target and tanks take up the space. All brought to you by Count, whose Identity Trust Global Network AI analyzes 32 billion annual interactions to help personalize user experiences across a full spectrum of trust, from frictionless experiences to blocking fraud. Quick and accurate identity trust decisions help you deliver safe payments, account creation, and login events, and so much more. If you want more information, go check them out, count.com, KOUNT.com, to help you stay safe online. See if Boise State has brought in some Count of their own, because no one likes to be hacked like the Broncos were getting hacked left and right by Fade in that last matchup.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Fade was an incredible Sombra, so even though Kel was doing a fantastic job of trying to spy out where Sombra was, that Sombra, I don't know, was just in the head of every player on the side of Boise State as well as the side of California, and was just aware of where they needed to be consistently 100% of the time. So that's just hard to figure out where they are if they're elevated to that level of gameplay, so to speak, with Sombra.
And you can see the players getting some last-second coaching from Doc Haskell there before they hop in to this match of Boise State versus USC, the Varsity Tespa Invitational. Broncos not off to the start we've been seeing in events like NACE and NECC, dropping a map, but definitely think they could potentially answer this one back. Looks like we will be going to Ilios Lighthouse once again to kick things off. And for Boise State, a little bit of a change for you. You can almost see this is UCI, same comp coming out from the Trojans the Broncos saw the last couple maps.
Yeah, except we are seeing the side of Boise State, if they stick with these DPS. Yeah, their DPSs are completely different than how they started with last time. We had a Pharah that then swapped over to that standard Reaper pick, but we do have Plato on Tracer once again, and Goblin's going to be on Pharah with Asu on that Mercy, where we don't see a Diva or a hit scan on the side of the Trojans, so I don't know how well they'll be able to counter Boise State on this first fight.
Plato going to do a great job finding out fan out, shutting down any sort of somber places the Broncos aren't going to have to deal with those hacks. Twang going to get one back, though, so the team's both down to DPS. Plato should be able to get in the fight pretty quickly, but so will fan out. But the Broncos right now keeping the Trojans in their spawn long enough to open things up. USC in blue, Boise State in red, and the Broncos going to start with the point. Hack's going to go on to Kel, but it's not going to matter as Fishgod's going to go down, and Boise State once again up one. Fan out dropping low. Kel going to be forced out of the mech, but Frankie Master goes down, and there's no supports on the side of USC. You can see Patriot and Twang's health bars reflecting that as they both go down. Changeling and fan out the next targets for Boise State. Looks like the Sombra might have got away, but Boise State full strength with a nice res from Asu.
That was beautifully done on the side of Boise State, and we're already hitting the 25% mark, so that leaves about 3 fights if they full hold on this point. And we do already see Plato is going to have his Pulse Bomb ready to go. Goblin's going to have Rocket Barrage as well during this next engage. So if Boise State hits Q first or is able to get a quick kill in the beginning, this next fight should be in the bag for them.
Rocket Barrage going to come out from Goblin, not going to find anything. Chengling swapping over to the Tracer. Unfortunately, he's going to have the same result as last time. He will be taken out by Plato. A large Bagel going to go on a long trip down to the docks. He's going to have some fun on that boat as he goes down. Nice Shatter going to pick up Goblin as well. Boise State and USC trading back. Nice res from Asu on to Guac. Plato will go down as we saw the EMP come out. Looks like the Broncos might be forced to allow this point to flip. Kel's going to get one back on the Frankie Master. Guac going to prop the final rage. Trying to contest the point. Just keep Boise State percent growing as Kel's going to do a great job getting back into the mech. Large Bagel has returned. He's going to help get Patriot out of the mech and take Patriot immediately down. Guac's going to knock Fishgod off the edge. Fan out and Twang going to get Guac and Kel. So the Broncos out of tank line as Valkyrie's been popped by Asu. A Large Bagel extremely low. You see bouncing back and forth between the healing and the movement. Seems able to just barely stabilize. And no one from USC is going to punish it. And the Broncos have gotten 20% in a fight they probably didn't even deserve to win.
Yeah, that honestly was incredible. That fight dragged out really long and really far on the side of USC. So that played into Boise State's advantage a lot, and they were able to get so many ultimates that this fight is just in the bag for them, hopefully, if they don't throw them at the wrong time.
Pulse Bomb going to come out from Plato, not going to find anything, but a Diva Bomb will, and he's going to get one on to Patriot. Boise State in overtime could go up 1-0 here on control with this one. It's been a dominating performance. Hack going to go out on the Goblin, but it's not going to be enough to save the Moira. Fishgod's going to go down. A near boost off the edge from a large Bagel, but he's not able to find one. And now Boise State's able to get Frankie Master. Goblin goes down, but a little bit of a C9 coming out from USC, and Boise State going to be able to cap that one.
That was a perfect round for the side of Boise State as the percentage reflects. Honestly, I feel like there wasn't a full fight for the side of USC at all because they had so many staggers going on. So hopefully they're able to clean that up a little bit during this next one here on Well. And it doesn't look like either side's really swapping up their comps, and that's a little concerning considering USC had such a hard time dealing with their Pharah. Actually, they're pulling out a Reinhardt and a Reaper, so that'll be interesting if Goblin stays on the Pharah for the entirety of this next round.
Chamberlain hopping back and forth between the Reaper and the Tracer. Boise State showing no hesitation as we'll kick off here on to Well. The Broncos win this. They go up 1-0 in this best of 3, putting themselves on the match point as the Broncos are going to be the first one there. Thanks to a Large Bagel back end flank coming out from USC, and you can see Boise State already jumping in. Goblin up at 25% and climbing right now. Easily the highest all percentage in the game. A Large Bagel on the back line trying to get a boop onto the middle of the Well there, but it's not going to matter. Plato's going to punch down Chengling, get the first elimination for the Broncos. Fan out, dropping low, not able to find anything, and the Broncos start to push USC back as the point unlocked. Everyone has respawned. Nice boot, nearly there, a couple inches, and that would have been a multi-kill for a Large Bagel and probably play of the game, but as it stands, the Broncos still dropping the health bars incredibly low. You can see Twang going to be the first elimination. He's going to be able to pick up Guac, though, but a nice res going to come out from Asu, and he will get hacked, but not going to get punished. Never mind, he will get punched down. Goblin going to get one back onto Frankie Master, and Boise State now going to lose their Pharah. You can see USC starting to figure out how to deal with Goblin on that Pharah. Guac going to get one. Patriot's going to answer it right back. Pulse Bomb available for Plato, see if he wants to drop it. Patriot just one bullet away from dropping out of the mech, but unfortunately he's going to stay alive as Twang and Chengling going to pick up a couple, and USC getting closer and closer to capping the point. Boise State finally going to 11.
Yeah, both of the DPS on the side of USC have their ultimates ready to go, as well as their Moira, but Moira, of course, as we've discussed, has it on cooldown. Boise State has both of their DPS ults, both their tank ults almost ready to go as well, and their support ults are almost ready, so they have the opportunity to take this fight, possibly without any ults, as we see this huge hat come out onto Boise State, but it's not going to be very useful for UCI as they can't follow it up.
USC able to get walk. There's the rocket barrage going to come out. Goblin, unfortunately, forced to be stationary. He's going to pay for that one, and Chengling picks up his second. Twang going to take Kel out of the mech. Asu going to go down as well. You can see a large bagel retreating. Kel wants to reset. Boise State might want to rethink this comp.
Yeah, for the side of USC, we're going to have 3 ultimates going into this next fight. Boise State has 3 as well. However, we've got 2 tank ults, whereas they've got 2 tank ults and a support ult ready to go. But our support ult can either provide damage or a little bit of healing, and not a shield like a Lucio Sound Barrier can.
Valkyrie from Asu, Diva Bomb from Patriot, able to pick up a large bagel. Chengling going to get the punch on the Goblin, who was hacked, so he wasn't able to fly away. Glock's able to get a Pronky Master to at least keep this in a 5v4 for Boise State. And Plato is able to get Fish God, so USC losing a couple of members in what felt like it should have been a 1 fight. Now, nice Pulse Bomb from Plato is going to pick up Twang, and the Broncos have once again turned this around. Chengling going to drop down his own Pulse Bomb, not able to find anything. As Patriot's gone down, Plato MVP at the moment picks up another elimination. And once again, Boise State proving to be incredibly resilient. As you see, trying to chase down Pronky Master, who's just stalling out for as long as possible. Punch down from Asu on the back end, and Guac's able to get another one, and the Boise State team should be able to flip the point. Looks like USC trying to stall out for as long as possible, maybe get this up to 99%, but they'll concede it at 90.
Yeah, and that was a fine stall out coming out from USC, but they're engaged, their retake probability is very high right now, as they have their EMP as well as their monkey ult, and that can create a lot of clearance and a lot of space for them to easily take the point back, as we see Boise State's only about to hit the 20% mark here, so they're in one fight territory if USC does get the point back.
Nice pick onto Chengling by Goblins, going to force a soft reset from USC, just wanting to get back at full members. That's going to allow Asu and Goblin to get a bit closer to their ultimates, but right now, still a little bit of a fight away. You can see Patriot, or Fan Out is there. He's going to drop an EMP, only going to land onto one. Both Sound Barrier is going to be committed right away, and it's Chengling that picks the first one up onto Plato. Rocket Barrage now going to come out, but a nice hack onto Goblin. Going to shut him down. Coalesce is going to be used by Fish God. AC is going to use the Valkyrie. Twang's going to throw out that Primal Rage, and so will Guac. And Boise State's able to pick up Chengling and even things up at 5 aside as the respawn comes out. Pick onto Fan Out as well means that USC is now out of DPS, and that immediately reflects the kill onto Pronky Master, kill onto Fish God, and no one on Boise State losing any health as Patriot goes down as well. Great job by Boise State.
Yeah, Plato's got Pulse Bomb also, so that could get easily the opportunity to create either a huge stagger or prevent an entire fight from happening if he's able to take out one of the supports on the side of USC with that Pulse Bomb, as he is so skilled with sticking those. Kel also is notorious for his zoning ultimate, so he can use that to buy a couple extra percents on the side of Boise State if he's not able to land a kill. So Boise State can possibly hold this out and not even let it go into overtime if they stagger these ultimates properly.
They get a pick onto Chengling once again, who has his own Pulse Bomb, so that will slow down USC and allow Boise State to at least tie it up at 90%. And with the way USC is going right now, this could be a Boise State 99% before the Trojans hop on to the point. No one right now. You can see Kel trying to find the Diva there. He's going to throw out the Diva Bomb and try and turn away USC. We did see it eat onto the Pulse Bomb, and Patriot's able to get Goblin as well with his own Diva Bomb, but Kel's able to get Fish God. Twang going to take down Guac, so USC starting to go up a couple of members as we get into overtime. Twang going to take down Asu, but Kel's able to get him before he gets hacked and taken out of the mech. Staying alive just barely for now, but he's going to go down. A large bagel, last one on the point. Can't get quite any boots in, but he's just trying to stall up for the long as possible and allow his team to get back. Walk swapped over to the Wrecking Ball, trying to get back on the point. Plato gets one, and Changling's going to get Plato right back, and now Boise State's got to get on the point quickly.
Boise State's going to have 3 ultimates during this next fight. If they use them properly, they can get this in overtime, but it's going to be a matter of will they be able to sustain during that overtime and actually take this second map away from USC.
Pulse Bomb goes out, gets Fan out. Mishkad's gone down as well. Patriot did take down Guac. Boise State still sitting up one, and a nice knock off the edge from Goblin is going to take Patriot out of the fight as well. Bronchi Master has thrown down the sound barrier. Does not enough to save Twang. They've gotten tail out of the out. There's the Rocket Barrage going to come out from Goblin, and that should be enough to flip it right onto the overtime for USC. And after that team fight win, Boise State, no pressure. The Broncos going to go up one map here on USC.
That was beautiful.
That was a great stall out by Boise State. A nice team fight win there as well. The only swap onto the Wrecking Ball. So really, really good job there by Boise State.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think they can. There's any complaints coming from any of the players right now. That was a good game through and through. There's obviously a step up from their playing in the previous round. It definitely seemed like they'd kind of synced up together on their wavelengths during that last match.
Well, if you're interested in potentially having your face one day up on that stage, then check out Boise State Esports. Always looking for talented players, production, and broadcast talent. Top talent along with good grades and eligibility can earn you scholarships as well. So sign up today. Visit boisestate.edu/esports for more information. This program has been growing incredibly quickly, being one of just 16 schools invited to the Tespa Varsity Invitational out of the over 100 that applied. So you know this is a high-tier program. They're getting better and better, and they're starting to contend for playoff spots in NACE and NECC, and they're about to win their first one here as they go to what should be hybrid.
Yeah, I do believe it's going to be hybrid, so it's either Scrims Row or Blizzard World, maybe Eichenwald if we're lucky. As we know, I really enjoy Eichenwald, but it's probably going to be Scrims Row. My money's on Scrims Row.
We saw Hollywood last time, which was the pick from Boise State, so Hollywood potentially an option as well. They picked against UCI, but unfortunately, I'm being told by production it is going to be Scrims Row. Kings Row is the pick, so we'll see how Boise State wants to do. Was USC's pick this time, so looks like the Trojans comfortable on a heavily played map. It is Boise State and USC in the Overwatch Varsity Tespa Invitational. The Broncos have already dropped one so far to UCI, but right now in this best of three on match point as we head over to Kings Row. And for right now, seeing a little bit of variety coming out from the two sides.
Yeah, we've got Twang on Reinhardt, Patriot once again on that Zarya pick. Fan out still on Sombra, but Boise State, a little bit of an interesting comp if Guac sticks with the Wrecking Ball pick, and it looks like he's going to. And we also have Goblin coming out on Echo and Plato on Doomfist for this first attack on Kings Row.
Dangling has opted onto the Reaper, so away from the Tracer that we saw him on the second map of Ilios. We'll see how it works out. Boise State's got a lot of value from time to time with his Echo. Very aggressive push by USC. They're going to go all the way up to the Broncos spawn doors, but it's going to work out as Daryl will take Kel out of the mech, but a nice back cap realized by Goblin and a couple other members of Boise State, nearly going to get them one tick, and they will. And Changeling goes down as the rolls almost flip, and it looks like USC's attacking. Fanout's going to take down Guac. The Boise State unfortunately going to be down a tank. Should be a retreat, but you like the heads-up play by Boise State to get 44% of the point for really nothing.
That was a beautiful rotation, kind of like a little bit of a bait and switch that Boise State pulled out. Now it makes sense as to why they had Guac on the Wrecking Ball. He's more of a distraction than he is kind of playing a tank. So the presence of him being on point is not as important during this comp as it would be in other comps.
Now the ult online for Goblin. He's going to steal away the Reinhardt. EMP went out, but only on Guac. Great target focus there by USC. Going to force Goblin out before he can get any value of it. Grab and Coalesce is going to be committed, but that's a whiff grab by Patriot. It doesn't look like there's any Bronco in there. Plato has been taken down. Boise State still retreating, and it looks like that's going to be a nice hold there by USC as the Valkyrie's been used by Ace.
Yeah, but Boise State going into this next fight is going to have Mines, Sound Barrier, and Meteor Strike ready to go. And on the side of USC, they only have Sound Barrier as well as their Earth Shatter almost ready. So Boise State, as far as ult economy, has a huge advantage. And if they're able to target people quick enough, they can take out the side of USC very quickly.
Sound Barrier saves a near full wipe. Good job by Bronchi Master. Not enough to keep Twang alive. We'll see Boise State still sitting on their own Sound Barrier. Goblin's going to be able to pick up another one. Nice job by Guac picking up one more. Kel has been forced out of the mech, but that's about the only elimination Boise State's going to suffer, and they're going to unlock the payload.
Yeah, we do see a large bagel already has sound barrier ready. Goblin almost has another duplicate ready to go. Sound barrier isn't really going to be needed for this next fight unless Fanout decides to use that EMP blast against the side of Boise State when there's follow-up from Change as well. Otherwise, there's just not enough speed coming from USC to be able to actually take out Boise State with how spread out this comp is that they have right now. And Patriot's only 50% away to that Graviton Surge. So it's going to be interesting to see how a large bagel decides to use his sound barrier, whether or not it's going to be aggressive or if it's going to be defensive.
Right now, about 4 members of Boise State just trying to hold USC all the way at the second point. A couple more members are pushing the payload, and it's almost around that second corner as USC is going to set up for a hold. Duplicate from Goblin going to be used. He immediately gets the shatter. 4-man EMP is going to come out from Fanout as well as the Death Blossom. But a nice job for Boise State staying alive. Now the sound barrier comes out from a large bagel. It's not enough to save 2 members, but it is enough to keep the rest of them alive. New bomb comes out from Kel, and a nice job by Boise State trying to disengage. Hack onto a large bagel. USC starting to push forward, and they force the Bronco retreat as they're going to get one more and push Boise State all the way back.
There was a lot of ultimates getting thrown out from both sides during that last fight, and as we go into this next one, that's leaving USC with only one ult there, grab, and they don't have a lot of fighting power in order to follow up that grab unless they have everyone on top of it, whereas Boise State's going to have their Valkyrie as well as Meteor Strike, and with Valkyrie going, Ace will be able to damage boost the vast majority of the team, and they can push forward together as a wall and get some easy kills if they take the right opportunity.
Goblin has swapped over to the far. Grab's going to come out. Valkyrie is going to be used, and Meteor Strike picks up Frankie Master, who is basically in melee range. Fishgod's going to go down as well. Flying Patriot going to join in. It's only the DPS alive for USC, and Boise State holding strong. Fanout in on the back line. Large Bagel's going to get a headshot there. It's just Chang Lang, and the Boise State Broncos going to get a nice delayed team kill and should potentially get the second point.
Yeah, but now Boise State is only really going to have their Earth Shatter ready midway through the fight, whereas USC is going to have both of their DPS ults and their Moira ult, possibly their Lucio ult all ready to go, and the Earth Shatter. So Boise State needs to be careful when they're rounding this next corner to not get caught off guard and lose control of the payload.
EMP is online. Everything else you mentioned, Nerdy, should be up easily for USC in this next fight. Goblin's doing a great job trying to get this rocket barrage online as soon as possible. Kel's able to get back into the mech, so he's not going to have to worry about that. 3-man EMP is going to come out, but a nice pick on the Chang-Lang is going to shut down the Death Blossom. Coalescence has been used by Fishgod and is able to pick up 2. Nice rocket barrage by Goblin, gets 2 back. He's going to get a 3rd one as well, so Goblin carrying the Boise State squad for now. Finally gets taken out as the res goes out onto Play-Doh. Going to be taken out of the mech is Patriot. Boise State going to drop him and Fanout incredibly low. Nice translocate away, but Patriot can't do that, and that's going to be his demise as Boise State's starting to push closer and closer towards that 3rd spot. Nice shatter there, going to come out from Twang, going to land onto 3, but it was so far away. But a 5-man shatter comes out from Block. Sound barrier from Rocky Master not used until 3 members have gone down. Large Bacon going to use an aggro sound barrier as well as Boise State wants to finish this one off quickly. They'll take down the remaining members, swap over onto the Widowmaker for Fanout, but Boise State's getting closer and closer to pushing this point.
Yeah, there was some incredible ult trades that took place during that last fight. Honestly, I cannot see anything that was wrong as we see this Meteor Strike coming out from Play-Doh that's going to take Fanout out almost immediately. And we see the Self-Destruct coming out from Kel, not just the zoning ult, but just the zoning ult, as we see the follow-up kills coming out from Guac and Goblin. I can actually say 2 names at once.
Boise State going to use that to get all 3 points on Kings Row rather comfortably there. You'll see 2 minutes 6 seconds left in the time bank. So we've already seen this before for Boise State. They got all 3 points on UCI and had to go into overtime where the Anteaters had double the time limit. Hard pressed for USC to get 4 minutes on the clock, but 3 caps for the Trojans, not out of the realm of possibilities just yet.
Oh yeah, 100%. And if we manage to see the Trojans get over 4 minutes on the clock, I might actually faint, because that's pretty hard to pull off, especially because I do believe the Boise State defense is going to be pretty solid, as this is Scrims Row, meaning everybody has practiced this map more times than they want to admit.
Ready for battle.
As we kick things off, looks like both teams going to throw a little bit of variety in their life. Looks like Boise State has gone with the Ryan Zarya. You have Goblin, at least for now, on the Junkrat, Play-Doh on the Reaper, and for the side of USC, we see an Ashe as well as a Zenyatta debut for them, and they're going to go with the Winston Diva core and the tank line.
So with USC, with this comp, I do believe they're going to be trying to wrap around the high right side. So right after you get through that first choke point, take the high ground and wrap up behind Clock Tower and drop down onto Boise State. So if Boise State is going to be willingly giving up that front choke point with this comp, they're going to have an issue, but most likely Goblin's going to be able to lob in enough damage out the gate to prevent an easy pass-through choke for the side of USC.
Those will be the team comps. No sneaky last-minute swaps going to come out from anyone. You can see Boise State doing a great job trying to hold that first choke point. Looks like a couple of members of USC have gone for a bit of a flank. You can see Zenyatta there, Prompty Master throwing down some damage onto Boise State. They're going to read that one perfectly. Go up onto the high ground there, try and catch USC, and there's the first elimination. Goblin's going to get one onto Changeling, and Boise State doing a great job being prepared exactly for what USC wanted to throw at him. One of the Trojans have next. They try and hop onto the point. Great response for Boise State, and an immediate swamp onto the far are going to come out from Changeling as Fan Out goes down, gets revived. No punish from Boise State for now. He's all large bagel wanted to get in there, but unfortunately couldn't quite do enough damage. Patriot going to lose the mech. Block going to take down Fish God, and now Fan Out going to go down for the second time. Patriot out of the mech will fall. That should be a reset coming out from USC.
That was just dirty on the side of Boise State and so clean. And they don't even have anyone that really could be a designated Pharah takeout character on the side of Boise State, and yet they took care of that round even with the Pharah switch midway through. That fight was beautiful, but now they do actually have to worry about that Pharah. Never mind, as Plato's able to take her out before she even crosses the halfway point of the map. Honestly, I don't know how Boise State is not going to be able to sustain this point right now, just with how skilled they're playing these heroes. They're playing them in means that I don't even fully understand.
Did see the res come out from Fish God, so that's going to get 6v6. Going to see the junk tire, or the rip tire used there by Goblin. It doesn't look like he's going to find any value besides just a mech, and that's unfortunately not going to be what Boise State wanted. But that's what they want. A double kill going to come out, making another double kill from Plato. And despite being down Asu and his Coalescence, Boise State's going to get the team kill.
Yep, and we are now down to just about 2 minutes remaining here. That's roughly 2.5 fights for the side of USC if they're not dragged out and if they are not staggered too much. They do have plenty of ultimates coming online during these next couple of fights, but so does Boise State. So as far as ult economy goes, they're about equal, except they just swapped off their Mercy in favor of a Moira, and now they're leaving their Pharah kind of hanging with no support. So that'll be interesting for this next fight. It might cost them a whole fight altogether.
You have to wonder if Changeling's just going to try and get the Rocket Barrage, drop it, and then immediately swap. He does have it available, as well as the Transcendence and the Primal Rage, but unfortunately for him, once again, Plato's going to get Changeling, and no res available this time. There's the Transcendence. Deathlock going to be used. Boise able to pick up 2, and there's going to be a Sound Barrier coming out from a large bagel. The Broncos get 2 more. Twang's going to throw down the Primal Rage, but it's not going to be enough when he has no team to back him up. Swap over to the Widowmaker coming out from Fan Out, but a great job by Boise State once again to shut down anything USC wanted to do.
Yeah, we do see Patriot on the side of USC almost has self-destruct ready to go, so a large bagel using his sound barrier there to be more aggressive might not have been advantageous. We'll have to see if all of Boise State is able to survive the self-destruct. However, we do see Kel has Graviton Surge ready to go. We have Earthshatter, Coalescence, and another Riptire, so there is just a recipe for carnage coming from the side of Boise State.
And now going to be taken down once again. Coalescence is going to be used by Asu in a 2-man jump tire, making 2.5 onto the mech. Going to come out. Goblin finishes the deal, and Asu's going to pick up Changeling. That ult has been on cooldown for, or up for 3 fights now for the Fire, and USC's got one last chance.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't feel like USC is really focused on helping each other as teammates in order to better their comp and use their abilities to the most of their advantage, whereas the side of Boise State is just being unrelenting. And we can see that right here as you see Changeling finally popping that ultimate, but there's just nothing his team can do to support him as Boise State is able to block it easily, but unfortunately we do lose Kel in the process.
They are into overtime, and this is the most fight we've seen from USC all night. 2 points down. You have to wonder if Boise State's going to let them hold or not. The answer appears to be no, as the large bagel is able to shut down Twang, and the Broncos right in on the payload. They're going to lose Guac and Asu, though. Fish Guy going to be using that Coalescence, so the Trojans holding strong for now. Kel trying to delay the inevitable as long as possible, waiting for his team to get back. You can see Plato and a large bagel there. Nice pick by Fan Out. Patriots going to take down Goblin. Plato gets one back and immediately pays for it. And this should be enough. There it is. Payload unlocked. USC's hopes staying alive, but just barely.
That was honestly incredible. They had no time remaining on the clock. Boise State made more than one swap. Fantastic stalls out on point coming out from a large bagel and Kel from our Lucio, and the ball that we had for a short period of time. During this next engage, though, we can already see that USC is pushing forward and taking out the staggers from Boise State, so they're just getting extra payload time and free space right now.
Yeah, third pick onto a large bagel, and Kel has it right. He's just going to retreat and allow USC to continue to push because the payload's so slow. The Broncos can easily contest once again. They do have the rip tire up. Goblin's got to be careful. You can see Fan Out holding that line incredibly well as the Broncos have respawn.
Yeah, Fan Out is able to get the line of sight out right now, but we do have Kel on D.Va, so D.Va's going to be easily able to go up there and take care of a Widowmaker. So I don't really see how that's going to play into their benefit in the late fight range, as we do see Boise State is losing a lot of our players rather quickly and mid-fight in locations I can't see, unfortunately.
Yeah, Bronchi Master threw down that sound barrier, and you could see Goblin. He came around the corner with the rip tire, saw the sound barrier, green circles, and I was like, well, I'm just going to try and wait this one out, and a good job spotting that one out by Twang. Slamming the hammer into an explosive tire, not always the best option, but at Overwatch it makes the most sense that the tire doesn't explode, and that's going to shut down Boise State's ult in a swap now from Goblin over to the Widowmaker to try and answer Fan Out. Aggro sound barrier going to come out from a large bagel. Nice Death Blossom going to be used by Plato, shut down Fishkat, and the Coalesce into large bagel, and Kel going to get two more. Let's make it 4 more for Boise State, as Patriots now going to be taken out of the mech. He's probably going to be eliminated slowly, picking the right option, jumping off the edge, and a great job by Boise State to shut down that push.
Now we do have USC just 6 seconds under Boise State's time, so unfortunately we will not see equal overtime if we do go into overtime. However, there is 2 to 3 fights remaining if this does not get drawn out on the payload, as we see the intrasites coming out. Twig does have Shatter ready, and if it's huge, he could potentially flip the fight, but we see it get blocked by block before it is able to land on anybody.
Ace able to pick up 2 with an assist from Plato. Next going to go down from Patriot. Bronchi Master low. He will be the next one to fall. Looks like he's going to try and get in, so Boise State's just not going to toy with their food. They'll take him down, but still a nice stagger. And USC, as you mentioned, Nerdy Bird running out of time. Just over a minute left here, so maybe 2-3 fights. They can go quickly.
Yeah, and we do have Plato chilling out almost with his Death Blossom ready to go. Kel has self-destruct. We do have a Death Blossom on the side of USC as well as another self-destruct. So it's going to be a matter of placement and who is able to actually monopolize on the ability to use these ultimates and when they use them as to who's going to win this next fight, as we are just hitting the 1 minute territory.
Goblin got a nice pick on the Fan Out, and I think that forced USC to reset and might take a fight off the board. Infrared sight going to come in from Goblin, so Boise State's going to have no worries about being flanked. They do have to deal with a Death Blossom and a D.Va Bomb, and Patriot's going to be the first one to use it. It's able to get a large bagel. Kel's going to try and throw his own out. Looks like that was just to reset the mech health, though, and it's not going to do anything for Boise State. They are going to be able to get 2 back, though, as Walk's able to get 1 on a Changeling. Patriot takes down Plato. Boise State staying alive. Goblin and Kel going to get 2 more, and a back and forth fight. Looks like the Broncos have been the team that recovers. They are going to lose Goblin, but unfortunately for the side of USC, they're starting to run out of time. They're getting some slow respawns. Boise State's going to wait. We might have one last 6v6 coming up very quickly.
Yeah, we do see Aso popping that Coalescence as well as block with that huge Shatter, giving Ace the opportunity to take out 2 people on the side of USC. And that's just, creating an unfair fight for the side of the Trojans. I do think Boise State has this fight in the bag as we see Changeling going down. But there's a Doomfist trying to survive, and he just does not make it.
Yeah, that was a huge Shatter that came out there for Boise State. That was the fight winner. So the Broncos will survive a hectic push from USC, so they will take this series 2-0, and they're going to go to 1-1 in the Tespa Varsity Invitational on the Overwatch side of things. loss against UCI, a win against USC. We'll see how this group goes going forward. Still have teams like Cal, UCLA, Oregon, Fresno State, and Northwood left for Boise State. Well, that will wrap up our Overwatch portion for tonight, but wouldn't it be great to get in shape if by playing a game you could level up yourself instead of just an on-screen character? Now it's possible thanks to Black Box VR. You can actually feel your speed, strength, and endurance increase and help you win through Black Box VR arenas, making it more like a futuristic sport than a video game. Follow Boise State Esports on Twitch to see upcoming Black Box VR events, and go check them out, www.blackbox-vr.com. Definitely something I've seen their advertisements a couple times. Definitely something that I will be taking a look at here. As of course, with the holiday season coming around, you want to make sure you counteract any of the pounds you might put on by staying in shape. And what better way to do it than through a video game? But you have to say, for Boise State, great effort from them. Great performance. I mean, a close loss to UCI and then a bounce back right there to shut down USC.
Yeah, honestly, I don't think that they can really be upset with how they performed today. I mean, they could count their first round as more against UC Irvine more as a warm-up match, so to speak. Granted, they didn't come out on top, but they did go toe-to-toe and show them like all of the skill that they have been throwing into all of their matches consistently. I mean, compared to the last time they played against them, Boise State did much better than they ever have before, in my opinion, especially against UCI. That is not an easy team to beat. And then going into their next match, it was like a cakewalk for them. They were fully ready to go, and they were in the heads of the enemy team before the match even started.
Be curious to see. Definitely going to see how Boise State does against fellow Mountain West team Fresno State, who found their way into that group. UNLV usually around in these as well. Don't know if they're on the other side or not. We'll have to see. That will wrap up things. We have a couple of little notes to get to. We have our top 5 plays coming up. You don't want to go anywhere, though. We will have our post-game press conference with Doc Haskell, fresh off the 1-1 performance from the Boise State Overwatch team in the Tespa Invitational. After that, we'll have Rainbow Six against Cal, as we said, an all-Idaho, California affair tonight. But here's our top 5 plays. Don't go anywhere. Doc's press conference coming up after these.
Hopefully, if they don't throw them at the wrong time.
I'm going to come out from Plato, not going to find anything, but Diva Bomb will, and he's going to get one onto Patriot. Boise State in overtime could go up 1-0 here on control with this one. It's been a dominating performance. Hack going to go out on the Goblin, but it's not going to be enough to save the Moira. Fishgod's going to go down, and near boost off the edge from a large bagel, but he's not able to find one. And now Boise State's able to get Bronchi Master. Pulse Bomb goes out, gets Fan out. Fishgod's gone down as well. Patriot did take down Guak. Boise State still sitting up 1, and a nice knock off the edge from Goblin is going to take Patriot out of the fight as well. Bronchi Master has thrown down the sound barrier. Does not enough to save Twang. They got tail out of the L. There's the Rocket Barrage going to come out from Goblin, and that should be enough to flip it right.
That are almost ready. So Boise State, as far as ult economy, has a huge advantage. And if they're able to target people quick enough, they can take out the side of USC very quickly.
Sound barrier saves a near full wipe. Good job by Bronchi Master. Not enough to keep Twang alive. You see Boise State still sitting on their own sound barrier. Goblin's going to be able to pick up another. Away USC. We did see it eat onto the Pulse Bomb, and Patriot's able to get Goblin as well with his own Diva Bomb. But Kel's able to get Fishgod. Twang going to take down Guak. So USC starting to go up a couple of members as we get into overtime. Twang going to take down Asu, but Kel's able to get him before he gets hacked and taken out of the mech. Staying alive just barely for now, but he's going to go.
Twig does have Shatter ready, and if it's huge, he could potentially flip the fight, but we see it get blocked by Guak before it is able to land on anybody.
Ace able to pick up 2 with an assist from Plato. Next going to go down from Patriot. Bronchi Master low. He will be the next one to fall. Looks like he's going to try and get in, so Boise State's just not going to toy with their food. Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We'll wrap up the Broncos' 1-1 performance in the Tespa Overwatch Invitational with our post-game press conference with reigning NACE Director of the Year, Doc Haskell. And Doc, we've seen some NACE, we've seen some NECC action that have been all Broncos. Talk to us a little bit about the Tespa Invitational. What is the skill level we should be expecting going forward in this tournament? How does it compare to some of the other tournaments we've seen Boise State in so far this semester?
These are the top teams, Fish. Honestly, these are the best varsity programs. You have to pass through and jump through so so many hoops to be able to get invited to this. We're playing against the top programs with great scholarship programs and great recruiting.
Let's talk a little bit about the loss. The first game we saw against UCI, we talked about it, a top 4 program. I mean, just getting 3 points on Hollywood has to feel good for you. So your takeaways from that game, Boise State's loss to UCI, but a close one nonetheless.
You know what? That is a team that we want to be able to go toe-to-toe with, that we want to be able to take points and maps, and we were exactly where we want. 2 fights on that Elios map would have changed the direction of it. 1 fight on Hollywood would have changed the direction of it. We are this close to UCI. With respect to Mark Deppie and his folks, we're right there.
Talk about the second game, USC, a nice Bronco win, and a nice hold on Kings row. So how did you like the bounce back from Boise State to sort of shut down any sort of USC attempt at overtime there on that final map?
You know, the confidence was really high after the first game, and they gave us, USC did, a number of different visual indicators that made us very, very confident. And it was just a matter of executing on that and taking into our fights what we knew we needed.
Last question for you, Doc, going forward. A team we want to keep an eye on in the Broncos group that might be a challenge for Boise State. Now they've got UCI and USC out of the way.
Fresno State, they're a cousin. We want to see them. I mean, they're a brand new varsity, well-supported program with great leadership there, and we want to do well against them.
That's going to be it for Doc. So thank you so much for your post-game press conference. I'm right along there with you. The Mountain West, I love to see those teams go against each other. Boise State, Fresno State, can't wait for that one in the Tespa Varsity Invitational in Overwatch. Well, that will wrap things up for our Overwatch portion of the night, but it's still the All-California-Idaho affair. The sides tied at 1 apiece, and we've got a tiebreaker in Rainbow Six coming up next. It will be Boise State taking on Cal. Broncos and Golden Bears don't go anywhere. Who's the superior state, Idaho or California? It's right after this break.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here in Idaho, we do things a little differently. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. Next, always use fry sauce. I mean, why wouldn't you? Hold steady when out-of-state friends think you're from Iowa. We call it pop, not soda. We always put a lift on our pickups. And we always buckle up because we still have a lot we want to do, and I'm guessing you do too.
Since 2016, universities have been adding varsity esports, competitive intercollegiate video game teams, with nearly 100 colleges and universities now with official programs. Esports is fast becoming the new college sport. But with any dramatic change comes criticism. How could institutions of higher learning promote something so trivial? But when you look a little closer, esports demonstrates, just like other sports, that it's a pathway to something more.
There's several misconceptions when it comes to esports and its place on the university campus. The first and foremost is that people would say it's not a valuable learning activity. It's not a place where people can learn new job-related skills or maybe get a good industry feel for what's happening outside the university environment. And that's just simply not the case. And all evidence points otherwise. There are so many new jobs. The industry is absolutely booming. People are looking for students that are graduating with experience in things like streaming and technologies, marketing, the whole business side, sponsorships. There's the whole graphics and coding component that involved in esports and other video game type of activities that are really important in just terms of jobs and industry.
And on their way to those careers, students who attend schools with varsity esports programs can compete for their university. But in order to be eligible, students have to meet the same high academic standards as other student athletes.
You have to maintain a certain GPA. You shouldn't be playing constantly. You should have like a certain time frame and like practice for like 2 hours a day or 4 hours a day. You shouldn't be just like overwhelming yourself.
Care about your grades first and foremost. As Dr. Haskell said, he cares about our grades first because we came to college to get an education, to get a degree, and then we also get to do what we love and play esports.
Athletics and other university-sanctioned activities bind students together with purpose, a chance to be part of something bigger than yourself, where we learn to work hard, play a role, lose with dignity, win with honor, all for our school. This is why we play.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by. Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. Hold steady when out-of-state friends think you're from Iowa. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
nationalguard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We'll wrap up our Idaho-California affair tonight with a Rainbow Six match between Boise State and the Cal Golden Bears. Broncos and Golden Bears facing off. And the reason I got confused because joining us, speaking of Bears, would be Brenner Bear Ladd going to be in to call all of the action. He will still be over to my right, well over 6 feet away. Only reason I preface that is we have a nice little new setup to finally allow my co-casters to sit down and not be forced to stand for a 2-hour broadcast. So you know what? They finally get the nice VIP treatment that I've gotten every single game. So Brenner Bear, how does it feel, 1, to be sitting, and 2, to be excited to see who's the better state, California or Idaho?
It's going to be great because I'm initially from California. Now I'm here in Boise, so it's definitely a tied thing for me. As I lived there for 10 years, and now I'm here going to college. So it's like, this is going to be interesting for me because who am I rooting for? I know all the guys on the team, so we're going to see.
I've never lived in California, only visited from time to time. So, you know what? If you want to take Team California and I'll take Team Idaho, that's fine with me. As we saw Boise State in Overwatch, they lost to UCI. They beat USC, and now they'll wrap things out with Cal here in Rainbow Six. Going to be Brenner Bear with me here. And Brenner, this means if you're here, Danny's playing. So what should we expect from his team? Because it's the first time I've seen his team this year on the broadcast.
I would hope a lot more of the same that we've seen last year, and as well as an improvement on top of that. I know recently that Fox and Sherb have swapped roles, so we're going to see hopefully Sherb more in that Ash to high fragger role. He'll still play the Monty. We can never get him off the Monty. He loves that shield, so we're definitely going to see him on that. And I really hope to see Joey Juco really pop off again like we saw him last round in previous games that we sadly weren't able to stream, but they were played and they were fantastic. He did very well. He's been improving a ton. We're going to see Gray in that support role getting a ton of information for his team. And of course, there is Danny, the fragger, who will be popping off this game as we all know and love.
Yeah, I'm going to expect to see a lot of Danny in the kill feed there. You see a little bit of the rules as we enter into the final week of the Swiss bracket format here in CR6. I know Danny's team at one point had said they were undefeated. As you mentioned, they obviously are playing the games, just don't always have the time to stream them with your team, Brenner Bear, and Danny's team, the blue and orange teams orange and blue teams respectively, both playing. So are they still looking at one of these top 8 spots maybe for the Premier playoffs, or they maybe might shift out of the Open playoffs? What have you heard so far?
From what I know, this is the top playoff game for our division. Cal Esports is the #1 seeded team, and our Boise Blue team is #2. So this is a very intense game that's going to go down because both teams have gone 3-0 right now, and so this is the 4th game. It's going to go fantastically for them. And for my team, purposely, we are currently 2-2. Our game went very well, and so we won it. And I'm very curious to see how Boise State pulls this off.
You heard it right there from Brenner Bear. It is a 1 versus a 2. Can't get much better than that heading into the playoffs. I'm sure Boise State would love to upset the Cal Golden Bears. We'll have to see in a matter of minutes how that goes. I believe the first map is going to be Theme Park. So tell us a little bit about that map, Brenner Bear. It's been a hot minute as you and I were trying to decipher if I have been on that map. So tell us a little bit about what to expect.
So Theme Park, we're definitely going to see, I believe, Cal Esports defense first, and they will definitely go Throne Room first, as that is the strongest site to hold. It is in directly middle of the map, first floor. It's the best site on the map, and we're also going to see a lot more interesting plays, verticality for that site from both sides. Holding second floor for that site is going to be key to winning it. So we're going to see a lot of castles, some roamers. We're also going to see the Cade and the Bandit holding site. It's going to be a really interesting matchup for sure. And then since the map was reworked a while back, there's some new rotations as well. There's going to be a lot of plays in Dragon and security through the hatch that we're going to see. So I'm really curious to see how both teams attack this site, as everyone does it differently. Some people just push the first floor. Some people go pure verticality for it. It's a great thing to see how different people attack this site.
And what about the bands here? As it is going to be CR6, Boise State, and Cal going at it. Two of the top teams in their group here as we wrap up the regular season Swiss play of CR6. What about the bands? Is there any bands you want to see operator-wise coming out from either side here as we start to kick things off?
Yeah, for Theme Park, we know Boise State's going to ban their Thatcher. It is tried and true strategy for them since they don't play him. We're hopefully going to see also a Mira ban. She's very strong on this map. She can definitely hold half of the map by herself with her 2 one-way Miras. I really hope that we also see a possible Echo ban, as he is banned in the league right now. So maybe they don't even waste a ban on him. Maybe they ban someone like Sherb's Maestro. That has been his main, his tried and true. He does very well with him as he is the only defender with an LMG. And we do actually see Cal Esports end up banning the Ace. Ace very strong as he's one of the new ops with a throwable hard breach. So they didn't ban Sherb's Monty, so Monty is still a total possibility for Boise State's attack. We are going to see that Mirror ban, like I mentioned, Boise State really staying true to what they know that they can't deal with, which is the Thatcher and the Mirror. We've seen proof of that in the last season on Cafe. So Cal Esports, for their ban, could easily go a Cater Bandit to really shake up the defense, as they are two very strong defenders. They could even ban a Clash here, as we've seen Boise State play Clash on this map in the past. So if they'd done their scouting, they would have banned her. But instead they go for the Malusi ban, the other new defender op besides Zero, who has actually been very strong with her AoE Banshees causing slow. So that'll destroy a lot of possible vision that the enemy team might be setting up to court off some areas.
See, as you said, looks like Cal on defense first, Boise State on attack first here, so we get some of the lock-ins. Anything catching your eye? Looks like Boise State's ready to go. Cal still figuring things out who they want to play.
Yeah, what really surprises me, they're going second floor bunk and daycare first rather than that throne room play. And it looks like they're also going kind of a heavy roamer group with the Bandit, Jaeger, Vigil 6 picking off to Mozzie, and then they have the Mute and the Smoke. So they're really sticking to, seems like kind of the lurker role rather than having the traditional 2 anchors, 2 lurkers, and a roamer. And Boise State didn't even use their 6 pick for that Iana, so they must be getting a ton of value out of that drone, especially against the Mute, who will be able to deny it through doorways. So I'm really curious how this plays off, and with Boise State's very strong drone game, we're also going to have the Mute and the Mozzie countering that. So I'm curious to see how Boise State's going to kind of flip this on their head. I know Danny's definitely going to be on that first floor trying to take out as many of those gadgets as he can on the IQ. And we're also going to see a quick rotation open up from site into initiation. Cal Esports doing an interesting defense so far.
I'll be honest, the one thing I want to keep my eye out on for is I know in your last game, Brenner Barrett, a couple of times somebody tried to clear out a wall and blasted the head right off of their teammates. So honestly, that's what I'm rooting for. It's just some silly team kills at this point, because that really brings up the entertainment value for me.
Yeah, those team kills were definitely a highlight for both sides, as it happened on both sides. And as you saw, Swiss actually ended up executing Stripey a lot of the times when we won the round, just sitting there defusing, because he could. It was celebratory, and we're just like, hey, we've been team killing this whole time. Let's keep it going. And definitely kept the mood of the game much lighter, as we see Boise State now slowly attacking the site. We're going to see Danny rush through that first floor with his AUG on IQ, trying to clear out any possible roamers, yet all members of Cal Esports are actually second floor. Smart play by them, even though they don't have a roamer to counter that IQ. She's not the biggest threat, just taking out some gadgets. We're going to see Ayana try to get a little bit of scouting for her team, but it was taken out swiftly, as we see 2 members of Cal Esports watching that hatch in security. Curious how Boise State's going to push this, as they're going quite slow and their tradition of droning each other in. But with the Mozzie and Mute, I'm curious how it might change up this strategy here.
Yeah, I haven't seen, at least from what we've seen, maybe I've missed it. I don't know if Boise State's really gotten much out of their drones. You see Danny there just going to take out some of the electronics, but I'm not really sure how much information Boise State really has here about a minute into this first round.
Yeah, right now we are at a minute 45, and it looks like they've just taken first floor control. They haven't really pushed side at all, as we see Fox looking towards that hallway from throne room. We're also going to see Danny and Ultrascent finally enter in that dragon hallway on second floor, trying to take some space, as all members of Cal Esports are just holding site right now. They're playing it very slow and methodically for this first round.
Shots going out from Danny and a member of Cal Esports. No one to be found, though, in Boise State. If we drop under a minute, still looking for their first elimination. Cal just content playing some solid defense.
Yeah, and there was no information able to be gathered, as one member of Cal Esports is directly on the other side of that wall from Danny. able to smoke him out. So Danny now stuck in security all by himself from his team, with Ayana drone once again getting destroyed from that mute jammer, getting a ton of value. Seems like Cal Esports did their homework and was able to scout out some of the Boise State strats.
Like a member of Boise State saw somebody ran through that doorway, so Danny knows there's at least one person on the other side there. Good job by Cal hiding behind the wall there, but Boise State's starting to run out of time as they're going to drone it out with Sherp, see if they can find out where those guys are.
Yeah, Danny's going to have to make a play here, but going 1v2, he ends up losing that, and quickly 2 other members of Boise State go down, running out of time. They are not able to make a solid push that they want, so they're going to have to end up rushing Cal Esports, but it looks like they were able to take out 2 members, so now it's a 2v3 situation with only 20 seconds remaining. Boise has to make a play here.
Fox still going to be careful. You just saw Danny go down. Sherp off screen, taken out. He's breached the wall with his shotgun. Bullet fire being traded back and forth. Fox, the last man left. You have to hope for a miracle here, but looks like Cal's just content waiting for him.
5 seconds
Yeah, it looks
left.
like they're just going to go simply for the timeout with Fox just maintaining his life. So first round looks like it's going to go to Cal Esports.
Operators, you are out of time.
And I mean, it was something that I know Danny brought up a lot about following your drone, something we didn't see from the team that you played last time, Brandon. So I think that was the strat when he went in, thought maybe that Sherp's drone could distract the members of Cal, but I mean, there's a reason Cal was the top seed, as you mentioned. They weren't even confused. I don't even know if that drone died, but Danny did. And that's the trade that Boise State, unfortunately, probably was not happy to get.
Yeah, Cal played that really well, going with the Mozzie and Mute, really taking away that drone game that Boise does so well. So that's definitely going to change up how Boise's going to attack this site now. So hopefully we're going to see maybe a person other than IQ, she wasn't able to get that much value through the floor. Maybe someone along the lines of like a Twitch even. Yes, it is risky against a Mozzie Mute combo, but at least she'll be able to destroy them on the same floor and shoot them from a distance rather than through the floor, because that only allows so much verticality. And in these picks, we're now going to see them finally go to the throne room, as I mentioned, and they're swapping off that Mute for a castle. So it looks like they may go for more of a harder hold, or they're going to go for a hard hold on the second floor. Because as we've seen Boise State attack the site in the past, second floor is very key to being able to get the plant off. And seeing as they weren't able to go for the eliminations in the past round, it seems they might go for a more harder push onto site and try to get that plant off.
So you mentioned you thought throne room would be the pick the first round for Cal. Now that they go here, do you think Boise State might be facing maybe a 2-0 hold? Because I mean, you mentioned how easy throne room is to hold. So the Broncos, after a lackluster attack the first time, already definitely
10 seconds to go.
up against it right now.
Yeah, and Cal Esports isn't running many traps either, other than just the smoke. So Boise State, if they were able to, could easily rush into site and try to take that space. But it looks like Cal Esports is going to do the exact thing that I mentioned, which was have at least 2 members on the second floor, try to contest, buy some time for their team. Because like we saw last round, Boise State simply ran out of time. They did kind of too slow, expecting that drone play to work, but with the Mozzie and Mute, it totally canceled them out. So I'm curious to see how much they're going to change it up now that they stuck with the same members that they used for the last push. And they are able to scout out the castle as well. So I'm curious to see how this castle plays off as well.
So Sherb looked like he did take some peak damage. I would have to assume it wasn't Boise State actually putting a couple bullets in him. So that's going to give Cal a slight advantage. As you mentioned there, we take a look at the second floor. You can at least see Raul there is on the second floor. So he might have some contest for Boise State as Fox drops in.
Yeah, so it looks like they took control of cash/office really quick, and they're going to push this member that is actually involved. And sadly, Danny actually loses that firefight. And then another member of Boise State loses another firefight. Cal Esports doing very well, immediately taking out 2 members as they push the second floor site. Boise State also now getting towards a minute 45. Still, they're doing much better on time, but with down 2 members versus the 4 remaining, kind of on the back foot.
Yeah, as you mentioned, a couple of gunfights that you would usually see go Boise State's way, not going the Broncos' way, and Danny, one of those players that you're used to seeing, winning a lot of those trades, going down early, going to make things a little bit harder, but of course the rest of his team still has definitely a ton of talent, but they've still got to find a way onto that first floor, and Cal's doing a really good job. Juco knows there's a member right around him. And then off screen, once again, another gunfight going to go the way of Cal.
Yeah, this Mozzie able to get a ton of value holding off this rotation and initiation, and Boise State not able to really take him out. Oh, it's actually the castle even. So the Mozzie ran up and took out a member. So now it's a 1v4 situation. Boise State not having a good starting couple of rounds here.
As you see there, I really don't think there was much he could have done in a 1v4, but I mean, this Cal defense has been nigh unbreakable, but also just as we talked about, the gunfights have gone Cal's way almost every single time we've seen it, which is definitely something of a bit of concern for Boise State, because there is something in this game to winning those 1v1s and giving your team the advantage, especially from players like Danny that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, it seems Cal Esports plays very separated. They definitely hold their 2 rooms from across a hall and just hold those rooms while other members are either roaming like that Mozzie. Mozzie got a ton of value there, taking out 2 members of Boise State while they were rotating through. I think Boise State probably doesn't need to play as close together as they have been. They should probably just go straight for site rather than the verticality play we just saw. And now they're going to initiation and office. Doesn't look like Boise's changing their strategy map. They're just swapping out that IQ for the Ash. So hopefully we'll see a little bit more value as those castles also slowed down Boise once IQ was taken out because she had those breaching charges. We saw both Ultraset and Fox having to use those 14 melee hits on the castle barricade to get it out of there. So really, they're stalling Boise State out and then winning firefights on top of that. Boise State really needs to pull something together here if they're able to get the momentum to win at least 2 or 3 of these attacking rounds, because on defense, yes, they should be able to win, as we've seen Cal Esports here, but we also haven't seen their attack. So with how their defense is going, I'm really interested to see how that will pan out. And also, on their defense, they are now going with a Maestro. Maestro very strong, able to even slow them down even more with his cams, able to do damage and even take out some gadgets. So if Boise is not able to respond to this Maestro, once again, we might see a possible timeout round here.
Didn't see much drone on the second floor from Boise State. As you mentioned, another thing that the Broncos do very well that Cal has been able to shut down. So Boise State somewhat, at least from what I was able to pick up, going in a little bit blind here on this round.
Yeah, and it looks like instead of just natural droning, they're also going to use the Iona drone and clear out that first floor, as it seems no members of Cal Esports is on the first floor. They're definitely go for a more just stronger second floor hold, so that'll clear up a lot of space for Boise, as we see them 3 members actually on their drones as well, not really pushing site right now.
You can see Danny get a drone up there, and Juco on the drone as well. Still on the first floor though, but it looks like, as you mentioned, Brenderberg, Cal just content with the full second floor hold, and now Boise State starting to push in, but once again, they're not going to find anything on this first floor.
By attackers.
Yeah, they're definitely going slow and steady, as a member of Cal is directly behind that box watching towards Danny. This Mozzie has been very good with that gun, very strong, as he's the only defender with it in the first place. And we're going to see Danny fall to half health from that engagement. His team member in Cafe was not able to assist him with that push. Now we're going to see 2 members of Boise State also push this arcade, with 1 member watching that window and hallway. And we're going to see Sherb end up falling to the Bandit.
Right around the corner as well at 50%. He has to be careful. They're going to be able to get 1 back, it looks like, but still you can see Danny is being held down. Bullet fire being exchanged. Barely able to survive, but unfortunately Boise State going to lose Danny right in the process. Another gunfight going to go down. The Broncos finally sitting up 1.
Yeah, and it looks like they had site control of that A site, so I'm surprised they didn't go for the plant there. Actually, no, they're not. They're on the wrong side. My bad. And so it looks like they're finally taking control of the kids' daycare and bunk area. So now they're finally going to start pushing the bomb sites themselves, finding the last 2 remaining members of Cal Esports on those sites. So it's going to be a 2v3 situation here. I'm curious what they do for a push, as they still have the hard breach remaining. And since Bandit and the Mute is not to be seen, they should be able to get this thermite charge off and go right into vault onto that A site. But 1 member of Cal Esports is in that bathroom, so I'm going to see if they're able to get some value here.
Hard breach went off. Doesn't look like Cal's able to get anything. Gas going to come out. Juco is going to be able to get 1. It's a 3-on-1. The Broncos should be able to get the plant. Cal, though, able to get 1 pick back in the bathroom.
It's a 2v1 situation with this Maestro. He has 81 bullets in that LMG. He might be able to make something happen, but he did not know that the thermite was right there, and he got split attention and was able to get taken out.
Good job by Boise State. I mean, and you can just see why these are the 2 top teams, but you can also see why Boise State's sort of been struggling, because once they got the man advantage, eventually, they just kind of ran down Cal. There's nothing the Golden Bears could do. So it's kind of a, at least from what I've seen, I haven't seen the games off stream. I like how the Golden Bears have taken away the advantage Daniel usually gets by getting the roamer, by not sending a roamer. And that's sort of, I think, slowed down Boise State a little bit.
Yeah, and that Mozzie, once again, getting a ton of value, taking out 2 members of Boise State once again, and finally losing to Ultrasen. So I'm very curious to see if they'll change it up, maybe actually throw in a roamer with how much anti-drone they've been playing. And we did see there in the draft real quick that they went with the same attacking team composition, and now they're going back to the mute for this kids daycare and bunk hold.
Has sort of been when Cal's been on the second floor. They haven't opted for a roamer when they're on the first floor last time. They did have Raul roaming, and he actually won a 1v1 with Danny. So, yeah, I will be curious to see, as you mentioned, with how anti-drone the Golden Bears have been, if they want to throw a roamer on. But it also feels like the non-roamer has been what has sort of slowed down Boise State, because they're not able to get that pick. They're not able to go up 1, so they have to go onto the floor with the bombs, knowing it's a full 5-on-5, and they've had to be a little bit more cautious, and that's why we've seen the timeout already once so far.
Yeah, Cal's been doing very well in this defense, able to shake things up a lot of the time and really throw Boise for a loop some of the time. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do this time, if they're going to change anything. We are going to see the Mozzie holding that cafe door as well. So I'm curious if we might see even a possible run out.
Looks like one member of Cal went down to the first floor here, as Boise State's able to go on, and you can see, of course, still the drones going out. Danny's going to go and got a couple drones ahead of him. And there's a member of Cal once again, though. Danny going to be the first elimination.
Yeah, we did finally see that roamer, and he immediately took out Boise's best fragger. So this definitely puts them on the back foot, and that was their Ash as well. So they're not going to have that projectile wall opener or even gadget remover if they shoot it in the floor. And now we already saw that Jaeger rotate right up to sight. So Boise State now proceeding through the first floor very slowly and kind of scared, I would assume, as he's still above half health as well. So Cal Esports doing amazingly on this theme park defense.
Like the Ionic drone as well. Looked like he was just staying on first floor. I don't know if Boise State, I don't think they're going to get anything from that. You can see Sherb trying to clear the floor underneath the bomb. So once again, the anti-information has been extremely well played by Cal to shut down anything Boise State wants to do. Boise State, as you mentioned, Renner Bear, they're going in basically blind and scared almost any time.
Yeah, we even saw just then the Thermite try to get his drone in the cafe to scout out the Mozzie who's been in there, but the Mozzie drone totally denied it. He immediately has to rotate to a different attack point, as we see Fox trying to take on a 2v1 situation as he pushes this A site, with Gray all by himself over by, it looks like Cubby in that situation, and then the Thermite still outside cafe. Looks like he finally pushed into arcade. Boise State pushing very slowly now that we're nearing the minute 15 mark.
Good fight from Juco over in arcade. He took a little bit of damage, but so did Aquatic Lettuce. Unfortunately, Sherb off screen going to go down, and now Boise State down 2, make that 3. That might all but wrap up their round for Cal. Now I think they're up 4 right now. Yep.
Yeah, Cal making plays, just pushing members of Boise State when they are not ready. As soon as Nomad pulled out that utility, fired it, she was pushed. And once again, we saw Thermite try to push. He was taken out immediately. We're going to see a member of Cal Esports even push Ultrasen as he tried to run away back outside to some safety. But Cal Esports, even on defense, playing kind of aggressive and getting away with it too.
Yeah, 2 rounds till the swap, which I'm sure Boise State could not be more excited. There is the Monty, at least for now, being shown by Boise State, and that might be the change they need, because the current strategy, unfortunately for them, has not been working. And you see Cal right now, really no fear of changing anything.
Yeah, they're even going to show an Amaru gridlock as well. So this is kind of a backwards, forwards team comp. We are going to see the Amaru 6 picked off into the line, try to get some of that roaming denial as their drone game hasn't been able to work. We're going to see Aiden return to that Monty or Sure. One of his strongest roles. Since droning isn't work, might as well have a human drone do it, seeing as Ayana was constantly getting taken out as well. And we're also going to see on defense, they're going to go back to that castle for this throne room hold. Definitely a very strong second floor hold by Castle, as he was able to take out, I believe, 1 or 2 members and slow them down incredibly after he took out the IQ with those breaching charges. So I'm curious to see how both teams are going to change it up.
I do see here for Boise State, 15 seconds left. I do like your call there by you, Brenner, for using Sherb as the human drone, because it really has felt like one of Boise State's strength has been nullified by Cal. The Golden Bears doing a really good
Attackers
job
are
of
heading out
nullifying
to
the
defuse the
droning
bomb.
work that the Broncos usually do. So I do like Sherb on that human drone. I like how you phrased that, Brenner, because that's probably exactly what he's going to be.
Yeah, and we're also going to see something kind of new here is looks like the Golden Bears are going to put a deployable shield on top of that box to deny that doorway and give them the peeking advantage rather than just reinforce the doorway and not be able to peek through it. So I'm curious to see if the Smoke's going to be able to deny it even longer, as Smoke is a very good Monty counter, but it looks like Boise State's going to go for an opposite end push and not even second floor this time.
The all-percent member of Cal on opposite sides of the wall. Of course, they don't know they're there, but Sherb right now being that human drone, basically operating like one. He's got Danny over there as well, who's going to try and break through that door and open things up for Boise State.
Yeah, but we are going to see a crossfire onto Sherb on that Monty, so I'm curious if they're going to have to end up pushing around or they're going to try to go for a second story push. A lot of things are open right now as we just passed the 2-minute mark.
Gas went out as well there. Boise State's still not able to find anything on that crossfire, so it looks like they're going to change routes there. Nice gunfight going to come out. Danny and Schwickson taken low there, but no elimination. And looks like there's going to be a hard reach coming out for the Broncos.
Yeah, Boise State finally able to make a play, but that Muzzy able to get some value for his team, and it looks like they're just going to go straight pushing into sight, totally passing up that castle, sitting right behind the furnace. Once again, I think that was the Mozzie getting more value for his team. Now we're going to see Aiden on this Monty able to finally get 2 eliminations for his team, possibly 3 here. He does not have diffuser, but now he's getting pushed by the 2 remaining members, or 1 remaining member of Cal.
Yeah, 1 left. Great job by Sherb on, as you mentioned, Brenner Bear, one of his favorite operators. Coming in clutch for Boise State. He's got a triple kill right now. He does still have to pick up the diffuser and plant, but a nice turnaround there, so he's going to try and rotate sites.
Yeah, this is why you ban Sherb's Monty. He was able to get a triple there with just his pistol and his mammoth shield. He is going to have to go for the plant here as he is slowly running out of time, now nearing 45 seconds. But Mozzie should be able to hear this and able to get some value out of it. Monty dropping down to around 5 or 10 HP. Now it is a simple 1v1 of he can't go for the plant anymore. Mozzie uses his C4, but Sherb finally able to get that quad kill on this Monty.
Yeah, last bullet in the clip, I believe, as well, if not the second to the last. So that is what it took for Boise State to get their second round and start to get back into things at 3-2. So, I mean, Cal, they were ready for it. They had the crossfire on the Monty. They forced Boise State away. I mean, I'm sure Cal would sign up every single round to say, hey, let's force Sherb to get a quad feed every single game.
Yeah, sadly, that Mozzie got a ton of value for his team, and it looked like Sherb on that Monty was the only thing that could have stopped him because he was unable to take damage from the front. He had his pistol, he was aiming down sights, he really nailed his shots too. And it seems Cal kind of fell on the back foot as Monty really threw them off and got a quad out of that. And here in the draft also, we're going to see the same hops, the same site played, and the same ops for Boise State. So I'm surprised that Cal didn't even swap in for possibly like a Legion to try to disrupt that Monty, as he got a ton of value. They went straight for that yellow stairs wall as well. So maybe we'll see a bit more denial on the side of Cal, or maybe a bit more aggressiveness trying to take out the members of Boise State as they even entered the building, as we saw that worked 2 rounds previously with the Jaeger right into Danny.
Interesting choice, as you mentioned, of the salty run back by the Golden Bears, saying, hey, you know what, we'll take our chances that Sherb's not going to get another quad piece. But yeah, I'm very interested why Cal didn't want to counter it. But once again, it still feels like it took a human drone for the Broncos to be able to get close to tying things up. Does look like this time, though, Cal's going to put a couple more people, at least for now, on that second floor, maybe deny a top-down breach from Boise State.
Yeah, and this time we did also see Fox switch off that Nomad and go for a Jackal, trying to get rid of the possible roamers, as they haven't been running a Vigil, so they'll be able to see their footprints, hopefully. And we're also going to see Juco get into a quick firefight with a member of Cal, who has been hiding in that bathroom right next to the drug lab. And we're also going to see Danny go down to about 1 HP. So that's going to make it super difficult for him to try to win some firefights with no HP to spare.
I couldn't quite see what happened to Danny, just saw the very tail end of it. You do see a member of Cal is low, but Boise State unfortunately going to be on the back foot, as Ultraset going to be the first member taken out.
Yeah, he was just fully in that window, not even upside down, as you know and love that strat, but he just took all the bullets right through the window, not really trying to avoid them at all. His face was openly exposed too. Not the best play there. So now it is a 2v5 situation as we see Jackal try to open up that wall across Cafe right above the stairs and possibly get a line of sight on that Jaeger who's been holding the hallway right next to Kids and Bunk. So I'm curious to see if he actually rotated out of that. So now I'm very curious what Boise State's plan is as they're rotating around the entire building with only 1:30 remaining.
Yeah, I mean, as you talked about with me with Monty, I mean, you know, he can only shield himself, and Danny unfortunately just went down to some crossfire bullets that weren't blocked by the shield. It's full rotation from Boise State, but with just over a minute left in a 5v3, they're going to have to get a couple of gunfights to go their way, which has unfortunately not been how this map has gone. Cal's usually winning those 1v1s.
Yeah, and especially with the life bars even favoring Cal in this situation, with 2 members of Boise a little bit damaged and only 1 member badly damaged on the side of Cal, but they still have all 5 members alive, as now Aiden's going to have to push this site all by himself with no member of Boise State behind him to provide some fire. So it looks like he is going to end up falling, but reload. Looks like they were finally able to take out that Mozzie. So Boise State on a little bit up and up, but they're simply running out of time as the thermite is going to fall to that C4 throw, and that shield got the value it needed. The Bandit was able to take out Fox and win the round.
Great use of the C4s. You saw somebody from Boise State trying to take down the wire there and couldn't quite do it. Great C4. We've seen some really good C4 usage in our last couple of maps here. Usually don't see that for more than breaching, but we've seen a couple eliminations. So the sides are going to swap, but Boise State definitely going to have their work cut out for them. But maybe now that they're on defense, maybe somehow the gunfights will go in their way, because that's what Cal was really sort of at this 4-2 lead with, was a lot of gunfights going the way of the Golden Bears.
Yeah, Cal did very well on their defense. But we're actually going to see Boise State on this defense taking up the Cade and the Goyo. 2 ops we have not seen yet. Goyo with those exploding flammable shields and Cade with the electricity denial. So they're not going for the Bandit. They're also doing the Mute as well, and they're going immediately for Throne. So they're not doing the same thing that we saw Cal do, going for the Bunk and the Kids. And it looks like on the attacking side, we are going to see that Twitch I mentioned earlier, as well as the Cali. 2 ops we haven't seen on this attack so far. Cali able to get rid of those hard breach denials, electricity devices, and then Twitch also able to get rid of them, as Boise State only running the Mute for anti-drone.
Defenders, which was something you had brought up potentially for Boise State to bring out. The one other good news for the Broncos is, see if, well, one, they can't get pre-fired as easily this time, because there were, I think, 2 or 3 rounds where it looked like there was one member of Boise State going in with half health or less before they even got in. So I'll be curious to see if Boise State can get any sort of peak value on Cal, or if Cal's going to do a good job of avoiding any peak before getting in the building.
Yeah, I'm curious how much value this Twitch is going to get as well, as it doesn't seem Boise State's really prepping for it. It seems like they're going to use most of the Mute jammers on those reinforced walls in the throne room, maybe even throw 1 or 2 up on the second floor to try to get rid of that scouting denial that Boise State traditionally does. That's maybe what they're planning for, but Cal kind of playing an interesting style here, so I'm curious if they're even going to go for that in the first place or just kind of rush site. I'm very curious to see what they do for this attacking, as it seems they're definitely going for a rush site with the Cali and Thermite.
Yeah, you can see, didn't see much drone action from Cal on the first floor. Saw one briefly go up to the second floor there, where most of the Boise State members are hanging out. So I'm not sure how much information Cal really has on where Boise State is right now.
Yeah, and we're going to see Danny on the Mute with the shotgun as well. So he's definitely going to be hugging that SMG-11, which is his secondary, with a higher rate of fire, in case he gets into a longer range engagement, as he is quickly scouting out the Twitch, who's right outside that bathroom window. So it looks like he's just going to hold the angle, as IQ now pushing very strongly through Dragon Hallway and Cash. So I'm curious to see if this engagement between Danny and this IQ is going to go down.
They're standing just on opposite sides of each other.
And even then, I don't know if Danny knows that IQ's there. He knew that Twitch was on the window, but he doesn't know that IQ had already pushed and cleared a lot of that area out. We are going to see Juco able to take out that Nomad on the side of Cal. So I'm curious to see if that's going to change anything up for them, or they're just going to keep going for the same push, as they still have 1:45 left in this round.
Cal quite methodical so far on the attacking side. Haven't really seen many people push in the building outside the one person who went down off camera. The nice little drone. I'm not sure if it picked up Danny though, so he's still in the clear in terms of, I'm not sure either member of the side know that the other one is there right now between him and the member of Cal.
Yeah, I might have spotted him for a second. He doesn't even have a mute jammer on that doorway, so it could definitely just quickly turn around and notice him. I think he might have just taken it out, but that could have given us away position. We weren't able to see it. We just heard the bullets fire for a split second. We're going to see some bullets fired onto Fox, and he's going to take over half his life in damage as a member is in security and one pushing from kids' daycare. So Fox getting put in a tight situation right now.
Looks like there's a couple members. He's all surrounded. He's going to go down, just like you said, Brenner and Bear. So that's going to even things up at Forest side. But for good news for Boise State, there's less than a minute left for Cal to find their way down onto this first floor.
Yeah, they're slowly running out of time with 45 seconds remaining, but they are taking control of second floor very quickly as we're going to see Danny Lee finally able to take out that IQ. So now it is a 44 situation. He's going to be able to take out another member of Cal with his shotgun. So now it is a 4v3 situation, but Danny does not have the health for this engagement, even though he is able to get the triple onto Callie.
One member left. I don't know how you'd find out a way to go 1v4 clutch here if you're a member of Cal.
Yeah, he is on this Thermite. Thermite is still amazing. He has one of the best guns for attackers, but he is going to take some little
10 seconds
fire from Danny through the roof. He has to go for the push here with the diffuser to go for the plant, but with so many members of Boise State alive, it looks like he's just going to try to preserve his life and give the round to Boise State.
Operators, you have run out of time.
Nice job holding there by Boise State. And I mean, once again, the guy who ran into some issues early in the map attacking Danny, able to get 3 kills, really 2 of those on extremely low life, able to flip that for Boise State.
Yeah, Cal did very well on attacking, but Boise State was able to get their defense and do it very well on that throne room hold. They committed to second floor very hard, and it did pay off for them. Sadly, Fox did lose initiation, but Danny was able to get that triple and win the round for his team as well. And we are going to see them go into daycare and bunk with the Valkyrie now, and as well as it looks like Cal is going to 6-pick off that Zofia back to Cali and try to go for a more on-site push.
I'll be curious to see how Cal wants to approach it, because I mean, you have to like their chances. 3 guys rushing down 1. I mean, that's just how good Danny is. Is the reason you said he's one of the top fraggers for Boise State. I mean, there's not a lot of people who would have won that 3v1 with like critical help.
Yeah, him on that SMG-11, he's been getting better and better at it. And then on top of that, even when they do push him, he does have the M8 shotgun to just blast him away when they finally do push through the doorway. So he was playing very smart there, even as the mute without even smoke grenades, as smoke was still on site. So I'm curious to see what they're going to change up for this second floor site, as for one of the first times when they defend the site, they don't have a Goyo. Typically, they always run a Goyo on the site, but it seems he didn't get very much value the first time they ran him, so they immediately swapped him off, which I think was a good play by them.
The other thing is it was a good drone denial by Boise State. I think that's what allowed Danny to pop off, as there was no one for Cal who was ever able to spot him. So the information denial has been quite high for both teams here, as we see if Boise State can find a way to tie this up at Forest site here with round number 8 kicking off.
Yeah, Boise State able to make a pretty good comeback on defense so far. Cal's still attacking very strongly. It definitely comes down to a more closer margin. Last round, not a great example of that, but in the past, it has been. And we are going to see Danley finally throw a mute jammer on that bathroom door, so hopefully he won't be scouted out again. And also, he's going to put it right by security on that castle barricade, so hopefully they'll be able to hold second floor a lot more strongly, as they don't have to worry about first floor. We're going to see a quick bullet come through and try to shoot that mute jammer, even though it's on the wrong side of the doorway. Getting towards a minute here. Not seeing much movement, but I'm pretty sure Cal Esport is definitely going on those drones. We're going to see a not even sighting that black eye from Valk, as Thermite's just showing off.
That's probably the most information either team's been able to get. So Boise State, you can see Danny once again holding down that barricade there. And I'm not sure if Cal knows he's there, but he definitely knows Cal's there.
Yeah, we are going to see that IQ take out Fox, who was, I believe, holding an initiation. So now they have control of that. But here we see Danny with his M8 shotgun holding that doorway. So unless Cal pushes him, there's nothing they can do with, especially that ADS, denying all 3 flashbangs as Nomad throws it right past him. He is able to take her out. He tries to go for the swing onto that Twitch, but with that F2 assault rifle, she is able to take him out, as she was also crouching. He aimed for her head as if she were standing.
Nice headshot there by Cal. I mean, you can see how close Danny came on Aquatic Lettuce to getting that 2-for-1, and that might be the difference, is there is the extra gun available for Cal, but with just under a minute, you can see the smoke going out. They haven't made too much of a push. A couple drones on the point, but nothing more.
Yeah, they were open. They were able to open up most of that wall on the B site, and it looks like they're not even going for a cubby push, as that is where the Valkyrie is right now, but she is going to end up being taken out by this IQ once again. IQ's getting a ton of value here. So I'm curious to see if they're going to go for the plant here, go for eliminations, as is a 2v4 situation here for Boise State.
So
attackers have located a bomb.
Nice peek there onto a member of Boise State, and just like that, before we even get off the dead body cam, Cal's going to pick that one up.
Yeah, that was almost even an ace for the IQ. Twitch was the only one able to get another kill in that round, taking out Danny. So IQ did very well for her team that round. She got a ton of value, was able to take out a lot of the gadgets and push and win firefights consistently. Almost every kill ended in a headshot for her. So it seems Boise State's going to kind of have to play a bit more back and not peek as many angles, especially if she's able to win firefights left, right, and center.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see. IQ has been getting a ton of value, been one of the top fraggers for the side of Cal. But, I mean, Danny's been, he was really close that round. We saw it the first round. He was able to flip it. So, I mean, I think Boise State has no problem with sort of putting Danny up on that second floor, leaving him all by him lonesome. And I would say probably 8 or 9 times out of 10, he probably wins that double kill, might flip the round for Boise State's side.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what they're... We are going to see them 6-pick off the go here to the Clash. Clash, another human drone who's able to do damage now. So I'm very curious to see if she's going to get a ton more value for her team. We're probably going to see Danny once again on that mute, holding that vault room, as he was able to take out the Nomad when she finally did end up pushing him, but that Twitch was able to win that firefight eventually. Or maybe we're going to see him possibly go for a first floor hold, as he is hovering over stairs right now, maybe thinking about putting mute jammer there. We're also going to see them do their typical reinforcements. They did not reinforce one of the walls by B site, which is why Cal was able to push into that site so quickly with the Twitch and win those firefights. So maybe they're going to go for a more defensive hold here and try to just time out Cal Esports.
See with the prep phase slowly winding down. Looks like for now, Boise State's got everyone up on this second floor. Something we saw Cal do quite a bit of not really putting that roamer out. Does look like there's a drone behind Danny. So a little bit of information as we see JUCO now heading down to that first floor, at least in the stairwell.
Yeah, and this really bothers me. Once again, they did not reinforce one of those walls by the B site, and they don't even have a rotation between the sites. So BSU really playing an interesting defense on this kids daycare and bunk, but it looks like JUCO is going to end up opening up that rotation with a super shorty on Castle, as we see 3 members of Boise State not even by site. It looks like they're going to try to hold off this push from the bumper cars, as this IQ is now noticing that they brought a clash.
Do see Danny, the only member who's taking damage, didn't quite see from where, but he's got to be incredibly careful, as we're going to see. Sure, we're going to try and maybe blow somebody out of the roof.
Yeah, he's going to go for that C4 through the floor plate. Sadly not as full, so he's not able to do it, but IQ's quickly going to be able to just run right past it, as no member of Boise State was able to call it out for him to blow it up. So sadly, that is going to get no value whatsoever. But we do see Thermite get C4'd himself, and now he's down to about 10 to 5 HP.
Members for Boise State. You see JUCO's taking a little bit of damage. Danny's sitting just above a quarter, but right now nothing else too exciting happening. Some damage, really some shots going on to Ultraset, but as you mentioned, the human drone, not really much anything Cal can do, but kind of just look at the shield.
Yeah, this clash able to stall a ton of time out for Boise State. So I'm curious to see what Cal is going to end up doing as we see them retreating back towards site, trying to get a more concise hold. We're going to see Sherb holding those yellow stairs and possibly try to get a pick onto one of the members of Cal as they rotate over. But we are going to see JUCO end up peeking the Cali, and get taken out. So now one member is down for Boise State. Cal should be in a better spot here, as now they are noticing one of the members is pushing through arcade. Definitely going for a split push here. And we're going to see the Valkyrie end up taken out by the Nomad. So Boise State quickly losing members, but we are going to see Danny able to get a quick revenge onto Twitch. But then we are going to see IQ taking out Fox.
Bomb located
Left,
by
right, and
attacker.
center. We're going to see Danny then taken out by Nomad, leaving it all down to Clash, but IQ pushes her and takes her out. Once again, IQ getting a ton of value for her team, as it seems members of Boise State got a little too cocky and were just peeking angles that they shouldn't have as defenders.
Yeah, definitely interesting to see Boise State get caught a couple of times, as you mentioned, just peeking corners. We saw we saw Danny dropping incredibly low. Fish and Brenner Bear on the cast here. We see Boise State down 6-3 right now, and it's come down to a lot of gunfights, and as you mentioned, the IQ getting a ton of value for Cal.
Yeah, Boise State really hasn't had an answer for this IQ except for peak angles, I guess, and lose firefights to her. I don't really know what the strategy here is for them. They're playing very kind of anchor-heavy ops as well, and they're not really anchoring. We did see them fall back from that half of the map, initiation and vault, when they realized they were slowly losing members, and Cal was definitely getting their push on very strongly. Yet we both saw Fox and Juco peak angles against the Cali, and she immediately took them down. So I'm very curious if Boise's now going to play a little bit more conservative as they go to the Armory and Throne Room site.
We will be curious to see how Boise State wants
Attackers
to
need to
do
locate
here
and
on
defuse as
match
many bombs
points.
as
So
they can.
Cal one away from taking it in this best of 3 and sending us to our next map. And it's really probably going to come down to if Boise State can either get a pick or something onto that IQ, because when he's been allowed to roam free or Boise State hasn't had an aggressive peek and won a firefight, he's basically won the round for Cal.
Yeah, he definitely has for sure. And this Goyo also hasn't gotten a ton of value out of his gadget, but his gun has been getting a ton of value for Joey. So I'm very curious to see if banning that mirror might have actually cost Boise State this map, as we have traditionally seen Mira played on this map. She can hold security all by herself. She can usually hold vault by herself as well, watching that yellow stairs and cafe hallway. And seeing as both Goyo and Mira have the same gun, maybe he's just playing the op for the gun, as his 2 flammable shields haven't gotten any value for his team. And once again, we're going to see many members of Boise not even near sight, kind of doing the same thing that we saw Cal do on defense. Yet Boise hasn't been able to get value out of it, as currently Boise is 3-6.
Yeah, Cal won a lot of those one-on-one gunfights when they were defenders, and that was the difference in why they were able to end the round up, and the defensive round up 4-2. Now on match point, it's up to Boise State to get a ton of gunfight value, and right now the Broncos have not seen a single Golden Bear, at least not over what we've seen in terms of our point of view who are watching.
Yeah, and as we finally reach the 2-minute mark here for this attackers, we're finally seeing a little quick engagement between Danny and one of the members of Cal, so I'm curious to see if that would have paid off, but it looks like Danny quickly turned tail and ran back towards site as they have those hatches open for rotations. Not really the best, as it seems Boise's kind of giving up second floor already.
Giving up the floor that the bombs were on did work for Cal, but there was a couple of times where they kind of let Boise State walk into them. We'll see if the Broncos can pull off that against the Golden Bears. Look like right now, minute 39 on the clock. Boise State, you can see all on that first floor. Cal still looking around, a couple drones going out, but they're not going to find anything on the second floor.
Yeah, all 5 members of Cal on second floor right now, completely clearing it out, realizing, hey, we have control of this. We should start pushing site, as they have breaching charges. They can start placing them on the floor between initiation and vault right above site, and try to get a pick on a possible member of Boise State if they were rotating through there. We're also going to see a member of Cal on those yellow stairs. Looks like they're droning even, but they finally got off the drone and went for a quick pick. But we're going to see this IQ once again getting a ton of value for her team, headshotting that Jaeger, securing that area. Now, Cal just now realizing that Juco was the only one in barrels, able to quickly take him out. 2 members of Boise State down. The life bars of 2 members of Cal are lower, yet they are still winning firefights, with IQ once again taking out Danny, securing everything outside of sight for her team.
Going to be a long road for the 2 members of Boise State. They've got to win this to keep the match alive. You, as you mentioned, Brenner Bear, couple of low health bars. See the drones coming out. Boise State's able to get 1. That's going to make it a 1v3 there. They are able to get a couple, but sure, very low. He's going to go down, and Cal going to be able to pick up the first map of the match.
Yeah, they definitely pushed together very well for that final push, as we saw that Ultrascent on Castle was able to trade with the Nomad, but the first map is going to go to Cal Esports. That IQ, of course, MVP of her team for that map. She did very well winning firefight after firefight, even below half HP, still winning firefights, even against Danny of all people. So I'm very glad for them, as this is both 1 and 2 seeds for our division.
Yeah, definitely the top 2 seeds. The Broncos going to have to go. Really, I think the first game 3 we've maybe seen all semester. A lot of these have been 2-0, so Boise State going to try and buck that trend, going into the next map here against Cal. We wrap up the CR6 regular season. As you mentioned, Brenner Bear, the 2 top seeds in their pool. Fish and Brenner Bear on the cast here. And I'll be curious to see. I mean, you mentioned, IQ's getting a ton of value for Cal. I mean, it really feels like Boise State's strategy was just outfight them, and unfortunately that didn't really work for them.
Yeah, maybe Theme Park just wasn't their map. Maybe they're just not having their day right now. But the next map is going to be Clubhouse, and I believe we do see Boise State defend first on this map as well. So I'm curious to see how that's going to change things up for both sides. New map, new sites, new attack struts. Hopefully, maybe we're going to see not so much IQ and maybe that player on a different op where they can not be so good, so we can see Boise State kind of thrive more and get some victories in.
Yeah, with us going to Clubhouse, from what you saw on the first map, is there a team between Boise State and Cal? CR6 here, ending up our all-California Idaho stream as the states are tied at 1 aside after our 2 Overwatch games, so they're battling for some superiority there. Is there anything from Clubhouse that you think might favor one of these 2 teams, Brenner Bear?
I definitely think it will favor the heavy off-site plays that Boise State traditionally does. Clubhouse is a very open and rotation-heavy map. So if, say, they went basement, they're going to hold even first and second floor. We've seen it in the past. Whenever they play this map, they usually throw a member into maybe the bedroom right above main stairs on the map. Or if they, say, go CCTV, we're going to see a lot of rotations from, say, first floor stock room and basement. Traditionally, Danny usually holds down there as well, as the verticality plays are very good on this map. We're going to see a lot of denial for hard breaching, and we did see Cal Esports very good against the anti-breach running that Cali, as Thatcher is always banned by Boise. So I'm curious to see if maybe we'll see some different plays here as well. Definitely we want to see more of Sherb on that Monty. Monty very strong in this map, especially when you go on the CCTV site. He's able to push all of Garage by himself, and possibly we'll see even another quadra kill by him.
And when speaking of bans, as we head into that, I mean, you said the Thatcher's going to be banned by Boise State. What about the second ban? Are you expecting any change up for the Broncos after what we saw on that first map?
For a defender on this map, Cade is actually a very good ban here, as there's 2 spots on CCTV where you can absolutely not destroy his 2 Cade charges, which completely deny that wall the entire time. You can play a Cali, you can play a Twitch, you can play whatever. You can always defend it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go for a Cade ban here. He's very strong on CCTV. We are going to see the ace ban once again from Cal. No surprise there. He's an amazing hard breacher, and he has the AK-12, the best attacking gun in the game with the highest DPS. We are going to see, hopefully, Boise State ban the Thatcher here, because they do not play him and they do fear him very much. For defenders, I really hope to see a possible Mira ban. She's not the best, but she is very strong if you're going up against her with that vector that she has, which is why we've seen Boise State run the Goyo. They have the same gun. So I'm curious to see. They are going to ban the Mozzie. Kind of a targeted ban, as he got so much value for Cal Esports on that defense, completely taking out their drone game, which is one of Boise's strongest suits. So that was 100% a targeted ban there. So I'm curious what Cal's going to do for their defender ban, maybe even a targeted ban against Boise. We don't know.
Yeah, Mozzie was the operator. You almost were just a broken record from approach, where it was Mozzie's great value, and Boise State took that to heart. Looks like Cal going to drop the same bans they dropped in the first map here. The Golden Bears are on match point. Boise State trying to get us to our first game 3 of our Rainbow Six semesters. It's been a lot of 2-0s for mainly the Broncos side, but sometimes the opponent here as we kick things off.
Yeah, I'm very curious, and we are finally going to see Cal Esports actually defend first on Clubhouse, and they're bringing the Legion for CCTV, planning for Aiden on that Monty. Legion, the perfect counter to Monty, and even a deployable shield from possibly Valkyrie, even though we know she's going to run the C4 as she's gotten value from it in the past. And we're also going to see the Bandit, the Jaeger, and the Vigil. No Cade, so maybe they don't even know the hidden strat for the map as well. We're also going to see Monty 6-pick from line back to the Monty, so maybe he was lying initially. I didn't see that real quick. We're also going to see Zofia instead of Ash, and then we're also going to see a Capital. We have not seen Capital yet. He's very strong on CCTV, able to shoot his fire crossbow bolts through the floor and try to zone out Cal Esports And then we're also going to see Vigil 6 picked to the smoke. Even more counter
Attackers need
for
to
that
locate
Monty.
and defuse
They
bombs.
definitely know to fear Aiden on this Monty.
Yeah, Monty, the one bright spot for Boise State in their round 1 loss to Cal. The Legion going to be the player the Broncos also want to shut down as he was making insane plays. Attacking on IQ, definitely you can see the top fragger for the Golden Bears is their player in the middle there on the right side. So as we see the drones kicking off, be curious to see, as you mentioned, the other thing Boise State does well. A lot of anti-drones came out from Cal last time. Be curious to see if Boise State going to get a little bit more information with their drones here on this map.
Yeah, we don't even see Cal running a Mew as they did many times last round. So I'm very curious if Boise's finally going to be able to get their drone game on and win this map so we can go to a third map and not have another 2-0 setup in this CR6 league as we've watched so many times before, even for my team, that we've had 2-0s. So I'm curious how they're going to push this site as they don't have the cave, so they can take down that CCTV wall and go for a quick plant, especially with the Monty as he takes Garage all by himself. They are going to scout out this Valkyrie who is holding stockroom, so hopefully we'll see a quick win engagement for Danny against this Val.
You see the drone go in. Danny going to clear the barricade. Not going to follow it for now. No one in the basement, it appears. So Cal's going to abandon ship there. And for the first time on this map, we'll see some roamers for Cal. Not something that they were very fond of on the last map.
Yeah, we are going to see Ultrasec quickly open up one of the walls in Garage, trying to get a cross angle and clear out Garage so Sherb on that Monty can begin pushing in up until that catwalk and secure that Garage area. We did see 2 members of Cal watching that doorway for Danny to push it, but Danny now trying to zone him out possibly as he opens up the floor trying to get rid of those electric charges. We're going to see the Bandit try to quickly peek it, but getting that thermite charge off means Boise's going to able to open up that wall, and Bandit not able to Bandit trick it is going to lose his life to the thermite charge. Boise State now up 5-4.
That's the thing we saw a lot on the first map was the Broncos up a man. Doesn't of course mean that they're set for a victory, but as you see Sherb start to be that human drone man over to his right, it's going to give Boise State that extra gun. Unfortunately, they're going to have that hand that one right back to Cal. They're going to go back to 4-4.
Yeah, 2 members in the Garage with no members of Boise State able to push it with them. They're not going to be able to see Danny come from behind them, but it looks like he's not even going to get a single kill out of that engagement as both Ultrasant and Sherb get 2 of them. We are going to see him finally take out the last roaming member of Cal as Smoke is left to defend this 1v4 situation.
And Yas comes out onto Sherb. Not able to find anything, and there's not a whole lot he could do. So nice job by Boise State. Nice start going up a man and really pushing their advantage the whole time.
Yeah, Boise played that very well. Even when Monty pushed up on Catwalk in Garage, there wasn't a single Legion mine on the stairs or Catwalk itself to slow him down and begin taking away his health. So I don't think Cal played that very well on their end. They did do a good hold on Stockroom first floor, but they overcommitted to Garage as they had 2 members watching Sherb on that Monty, and then they immediately lost their lives for it as Danny came up from behind him and got that crossfire and let his teammates secure those kills. We're going to see the exact same ops played on both sides with no 6-pick going on right now. So I'm curious to see if they're going to change anything up at all.
Yeah, it doesn't look like either team. I'm sure Boise State probably not interested in much of a swap. If it keeps working, why fix it? And I mean, as you mentioned, yeah, it looked like an overcommittal by Cal over there in the Garage. I mean, even though you mentioned Danny get the kills, if anyone on Boise State missed, he was going to pick up a double kill. They had no idea he was there, so that's the role that he likes to be comfortable in, basically being a nuisance in the side of the enemy team and usually getting those eliminations. So I'll be curious to see if Cal wants to change up their strategy, because like you said, it was a little bit of a sloppy round there. Rarely do you see someone at this level of play just go down to the hard breach.
Yeah, he was definitely just trying to bandit trick it. He did it maybe 1 or 2 seconds just too late. Now, if they had been running the Cade, they could have easily just completely denied that whole situation, but it is kind of a newer strategy, so it doesn't surprise me that they know about it. So by bandit tricking, they would have destroyed it while it was going off, so he couldn't take it off in time because he already activated it. But since the new nerfs have come in, it just makes him a little bit slower, so he's not able to get that bandit trick off and did end up falling to the charge as it just does that much damage through a wall. So I'm curious to see if they're still going to overcommit to this Garage push, and hopefully Legion will play a bit smarter and have some Legion mines on those stairs to slow down that Monty, as he was able to even get a kill in that engagement for his team.
But there still are a couple members in garage for Cal Esports as we kick off the second round here. The Golden Bears won the first map, so they still are up. So the pressure still on the Broncos here to try and find a victory. You see Sherb, the human drone, back in that familiar location down there on garage.
Yeah, we are going to see Danny immediately lose a gunfight to this Valkyrie. He knew she was there. They droned her out and everything, and he still lost it to her. So I'm very curious how Boise's now going to try to swap this out as they don't have that Zofia to open up and get rid of those bandit charges on that CCTV wall. We are going to see even Sherb try to push this garage, but he can't take out the barricade as Legion's watching his every move. We're going to see Thermite try to see if he can peek through that drone hole and take someone out. But since they are not able to get rid of those bandit charges, Boise State's going to have to go for a different push here.
As you mentioned, Sherb being held down. No way he's able to break the barricade. Fox is there. He's going to grenade in. Saw it go off. Don't know if anyone but Cal got affected as Boise State now looks like they've taken the barricade down, but there looks like they're still not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, Sherb was able to finally spot that Legion mine on the stairs, and we're going to see Ultrasen take it out for him, but he is going to end up losing his life to that Legion while he was focusing on the mine rather than the player. And we are going to see another member of Boise State fall. This push not working for them yet. They're still committing to it.
A nice job by Sherb beating up the 2 bullets. You see Juco there trying to get an angle, can't quite find anything. And he's going to be taken down as well, so unfortunately that Monty shield not blocking bullets for his teammate. Tried to do something there, and now it's a 1v5.
Yeah, this round definitely going to Cal Esports as they were able to take out Danny so early on. Boise State not able to go for a different push, and even when Fox heard the bullets go whizzing past his butt, still has to push that smoke and lost it.
A flawless round there from Cal to tie things back up at one aside, and you have to wonder if now Boise State will drop the Monty because this time Cal much more ready for a garage shove from Sherb and friends.
Sadly, we actually won't see that, seeing as the defenders won that site. We can't go back to it, so they're probably going to go for a basement hold, as we just saw. So we might see a couple different operators. We're going to see the K to try to deny those hatches, and we're going to see the Oryx, the perfect Monty counter, as his whole deal is he will just charge Monty and knock him on his butt. So I really hope that they don't 6-pick off this Oryx. Oryx is one of the operators we have not seen at all in this CR6 league, but we are going to see Monty 6-picked off Maverick as Sherb notices they're not 6-picking off this Oryx. So I am very sad we did not see that encounter go down, but very smart by Cal going for that Oryx because they know Monty's been getting a ton of value as he got caught in the last map. Even though they won it, it was still a huge threat. And now basement, the first time we've seen defense on this map. Typical rotation being opened up between blue and the other site in Armory. We don't see anyone going through dirt right now to reinforce it, as we see Boise actually droning it out. So I'm curious if Cal is even going to reinforce it here. I really hope they do. They still have plenty of time, but this could end poorly for them here.
I don't see anything quite yet.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, we're also going to see Boise drone out Kitchen. Sometimes we'll see a member of the defense holding Kitchen. That is a very strong place to hold. It is directly above Armory. Gets a lot of rotations if you blow up the entire floor. They did hard breach it, but they don't have a single K charge on it. We are going to see the Oryx try to peek one of the members of Boise State over at that construction site. Juco did end up taking half of his life in damage, but so did the Oryx. So a good engagement on both ends, actually.
Oryx still over there, so Boise State still got to be careful. The one member, Juco, it looked like, who also has the diffuser, also has to be careful as well. It looks like Boise State now realizes he's still there, so they're going to try and catch him out, but it looks like he smartly ran away, so nothing more than a little bit of health traded back.
Yeah, instead of going for the full thermite charge on it, they're going to use the Maverick and just carve out their little corner hole so that they can try and crouch right through that. We're going to see Danny, it looks like, enter through garage, or no, that was Fox because it's the Nomad, and possibly run into that Jaeger who was holding in bar last we saw him. Now he's droning out as, since that Mwazi was targeted banned, might see some more value here from the drone gain on Boise, sorry.
Well, you're good. Looks like a couple members of Boise State have started their slow descent down into the basement. You can see 3 members of Cal down there. A couple members also roaming. Really haven't seen any gunfight exchange besides some of that peak damage coming out, so neither team really too keenly aware of where anyone is as the drone comes out for sure.
Yeah, Boise's definitely sticking to their strong suits and droning consistently. You can see right by that dirt doorway, there was at least 3 drones sitting there by once he got off of it. And finally, we're going to see that Oryx taken out as he was one of the few roamers for Cal, and it was taken out by Fox. So I'm curious to see if by taking out this roamer, they're going to finally be able to get some verticality plays going as Danny's still alive, taking no damage, taking no firefights. He's able to scout out this bandit right outside the main stairs entering the basement. We're going to see Fox once again take a winning engagement against the Legion, who is in blue. So now Boise has control of blue as well.
Bomb located by attackers.
They are unfortunately going to lose a member, so they are going to go back down to just sitting up 1. I think there's going to be some Capitao damage as well from the crossbow.
Yeah, Boise playing this attack very well, going from multiple angles all at the same time, pushing members, but we are going to see Juco on that Thermite lose the firefight to the Jaeger. Jaeger's been doing very well in this engagement, but he is end up going to fall to Danny, who got that cross angle from blue once
Attackers recover
the Golden Bears lost that position. So it looks like they're going to go for the plant here as Sherb's covered by his 2 teammates with the cross angles. Boise knows that the 2 remaining members are towards the... Don't remember the name of that site, just totally blanked, it's fine. They're on the other side, so they know they're over there. They're watching cross angles through the rotations in the wall as well. Boise State should definitely have this round in the bag, assuming they don't peek and get greedy. Exactly like that, as Danny immediately trades with the Bandit. We are going to see the Cade push out and take out both members of Boise State. Cal Esports just took it out.
I mean, like you said, I mean, it was all about Boise State to slow play it. Danny got the 1-for-1. I'm sure it's something he wished he had back. He also was, I think, extremely low, below 10%. So, I mean, of course, that also sort of attributed to why he did take the 1-for-1. So a defuse from Cal, going to put the Golden Bears up 2-1 now.
Cal played that very, very well. They played it patiently. They did not peak engagements that they knew they couldn't win. They peaked Capitao at the perfect time. He was not ready, and they took him right out. I believe it was even while he was reloading or switching from his gadget. So they peeked that, took it. They peeked Sherb after he planted and was not aiming down sights, took him out, and then he was able to get the diffuser off. That Cade got so much value for his team as well. Sadly, the Orcs did not get that Monty play that we wanted, but very good counter pick on their end as we see them going to gym and bedroom, with Boise now swapping over from Zofia to Sledge, and now Zofia's on Sherb.
Yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see when Boise State wants to pull that Monty card back out, because it's something, it's really been when they've had the most success is when Sherb's on that Monty and he's able to be that human drone and make up for the lack of droning that Boise State's been able to pull off from Cal on most of these rounds.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of happy they're not playing the Monty as much, simply because they targeted banned that Mozzie. That Mozzie was probably the biggest problem for them on the theme park, and I think they adapted to it very well. Now on this second floor site, we are going to see the castle very traditional played here. We're also going to see them probably try to bandit trick that wall to the west side of the site as well. Hopefully we don't see Bandit lose his life to the Thermite once again trying to bandit trick it. We don't see the Cade anymore, and we also don't see a mute. I'm surprised after winning theme park with that mute as well that they're not once again trying to go anti-drone against Boise's very strong drone game.
Yeah, that was also the other weakness that Boise kind of felt on theme park, was that there was no droning that was going out. There was a lot of drone shutdown from Cal, and as we talked about, that's one of the Broncos' strong suits. So to see that Cal's not relying on it this time means that they definitely see the confidence the Golden Bears have in their gunfights, and why would they not? They've won a majority of the one-on-one gunfights that we've seen so far through these first 2 maps.
Yeah, even with how tactical Boise has been playing, Cal's just been able to win those one-on-one gunfights, even when Boise gets a little bit kind of cocky and peaks angles that they shouldn't be. Cal's able to capitalize on those, and even as we see that Boise try to rush the site, he's going to get taken out by that Jaeger, but then 2 members of Cal's are immediately going to get taken out by Danny, who also rushed through right behind Sherb when they dropped through that roof hatch. We are going to see Danny eventually fall as he was very low on life. So once again, we're even up.
You see Aquatic Lettuce, though, basically 0 HP, but another pick onto a member of Boise State, and just like that, it's a 2-on-2.
Bomb located by attackers.
This is very fast round as we are just now approaching a minute 45, and it's a 2v2. I'm very curious how this is going to pan out, as the last 2 members just have to play slow and steady for this. The bathroom completely open. They can go for a plant right here. and he's going to win that firefight against the castle. So now it's a 2v1. It's all down to Legion, who ends up falling to Fox.
Yeah, great job by Boise State with a little bit of a recovery there after a quick start from Danny, and the Broncos able to wrap that one up and get us back to 2-a-side, so a lot more of an even style match here than we saw on the first map where Cal sort of was dominating when they were defending the whole time.
Yeah, the rush strat really worked for Boise there. They were able to push through, even losing the Zofia. Danny was quickly able to follow his teammate behind and get the double for his team, pushing them up. They did eventually lose more members, including Danny himself, from that cross angle from construction, but they got the value that they needed. They were able to take control of certain sites and just push it and end up winning the round for themselves as well. We are going to see Maverick 6 picked onto the Buck as we are going back to CCTV since it has been the 3 rounds since.
Curious to see how Boise State wants to attack this, and really who's going to start to pull away here, because it has been sort of back and forth on defense. As we talked about in the first map, Cal really felt like they were in control the whole time. It took a Monty quad to get Boise State even one of their 2 points. So this still feels like the round where whoever wins this might start to pull away here as we wrap things up before they swap.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that, because defending on this should definitely be more one-sided. And this time, even when pushing Garage, they don't have the Monty to push it, as Legion has been prepping for this Monty. So I'm curious to see how Boise's going to try to change up their attack strat, maybe push through from bedroom and that roof hatch that we saw just last site. Yes, it's not the same site, but they'll take the space on second floor and have that control so that they can comfortably try to plan an attack strategy here. The main goal for them would not be lose that Thermite. Thermite is their only hard breach. They didn't bring the Maverick this time. They don't even have kind of an anti-hard breach gadget, because we saw Valkyrie beat out Danny for that stockroom control where he's able to open up the floor with his Zofia charges and take out those bandit traps. So I'm very curious what Boise State's plan here is. It looks like they're going to go for a full just first floor take, but this Valkyrie is going to put up a fight.
The drones coming out from Boise State. Going to be a couple of them taken down, and it looks like they're going to open up one of the floors there. You see the garage as well, something probably Boise State wants to avoid. It looks like Cal is completely ready if Boise State was over there. Sherp entering in.
Yeah, so it looks like the Valkyrie did back off, letting Boise get some of their space taken, but we are going to see the Bandit, I believe, holding that cross angle through the wall in garage. Try to get some pre-fire damage in there, but ends up getting no value, sadly, as Sherb is holding the line. So I'm very curious as they go for the vertical plays if they're going to be able to get anyone on these rotations through the floor.
Okay, see Sherb opening up a little bit of the floor. Not going to be able to find anyone, and now it's on Boise State as we see them kind of slow playing. It looks like Cal's more than content to make Boise State come up to them.
Yeah, we do see 3 drones taken out, or actually 4, my bad, on the side of Boise. So they're slowly losing their very strong drone plays that they so highly play off of. We're going to see Fox from that construction trying to go for a pinch push on this A site through the floor as well as the other side. We're going to see Thermite try to possibly go for the bandit trick, but no one was able to take out the gadgets underneath. And then we're going to see Valkyrie once again win the firefight against Danny as Sherb loses 75% of his life in just a spray peak firefight against a member of the Golden Bears.
Time to ring some ears!
One kill picked up for the Golden Bears. Boise State in the 2v5. Ral is just above quarter life. You can see Juco going to be taken low in another firefight. Knows there's a member over there, but can't find him. And Boise State's starting to run out of resources.
Yeah, it's a 2v5 situation. Cal definitely can just start getting aggressive and takes out a member of Boise State, getting a flawless round as Valkyrie just ran out and took him out.
See some knives coming out as well, and unfortunately for Boise State, that was probably not the round they wanted. These are the 1 and the 2 seeds, so you can see just how close they are as it was tied at 2-a-side, but that round you have to think gives all the momentum over to Cal.
Yeah, for sure. And now that we are finally going back to the basement as Cal has consistently won these defensive positions, we are going to see the Monty return, thankfully, as hopefully Boise will be able to utilize that human drone as we know and love so much. We're also going to see the Jackal come out. So it seems that Boise kind of fears those roamers that Cal has been capitalizing on again and again.
Yeah, Monty has been the ace in the sleeve for Boise State. A lot of their wins, a lot of their good pushes have definitely come from when Sherb's on that Monty, as you mentioned, Bernard Bear, one of his favorite operators. So I'll be curious to see if he can be what brings Boise State back to tie it at 3 aside.
Yeah, we're also going to see Cal go for a much harder denial, also bringing the Bandit this time and the Maestro, as they lost Blue last time, which did end up costing them the plant, but they were able to win the round through sheer gunfights, as that's been their strength. They definitely don't go for plant denial or hard anchoring. They just go for gunfights that they know they can win. We have seen Ral on that Valkyrie constantly beat Danny in firefights, which is very good for his team, taking out their top player. So I'm very curious to see what both sides are going to change up for this defense, as I believe this is one of the last rounds we're going to see before we swap sides.
Attackers are
We
heading
do
out
kick
to
things
defuse a bomb.
off here. Last time they were on the basement, there was a member of Cal who was trying to peek Boise State, who spawned in construction here. It doesn't look like there's any Broncos there, but it's still going to be the same result as you see. Automatically, Ultraset going to be taken out, so Boise State already down a member.
Yeah, that spawn peek got a ton of value for Cal, as they're just kind of playing a little dirty doing a spawn peek in a comp match, but it got them value, so hats off to them, as Boise wasn't even expecting it at that point. Cal definitely throwing Boise for a loop, just constantly doing different things to keep things interesting. We are going to see Sherb on this Monty slowly begin to push through, as we saw one of the members of Boise State constantly droning for him, a staple of how Boise State plays.
Cal's done a good job taking away the drone play for Boise State for the most part, and also taking out a member. And even as you mentioned, Brenner Bear, relying on a lot of their just pure gunfight 1v1s, and they've come out victorious as well. So Boise State going to have to try and find an answer back, because they're already down a member as they start to push down into blue.
Yeah, we are going to see a quick little fire engagement between two members of Boise State and a member of Cal who were over there in a bomb site. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to play off, as Monty now has a Legion Mine in his leg. He's going to have to stop and pull that out and re-push through, as we are nearing a minute 30 in this match.
It did cost Sherb about a quarter of his HP, but he's able to get it out.
Yeah, we are going to see him push into this A site, and we are going to see the Thermite and the Nomad both fall to Cal, as once again Danny loses to Ral, or to Aquatic Lettuce. We're going to see Monty able to get a double kill, hopefully a quad, and even an ace if he's able to win this round for his team as one of their last attacking rounds, but it looks like he's going to end up falling to Aquatic Lettuce. Cal, once again, once they get the numbers advantage, they get very aggressive and just push the remaining members of Boise State, knowing that they can win those firefights.
Yeah, and not a whole lot of Monty's going to be able to do there. I mean, we saw him pick up 2, but even in a 1v3 with just that pistol. So they're going to swap sides. Identical score line from last time, with Cal picking up the 4-2 advantage. They pushed it on attack, I think, taking 3 of the 4 rounds to wrap up our last map. So Boise State got to be careful here as they flip to defense.
Yeah, and we are going to see some new ops come out for our Boise State defense. We're going to see the Pulse and the Ella come out, as they're going for the basement first rather than a CCTV hold. So maybe they just want to get the better site out of the way, so they know that they can get a win and get that momentum going back for them. We are going to see Ella 6 picked for the Mira, who was actually not banned. I'm curious how Boise's going to hold with this Mira. She can't get a ton of value in the basement per se.
Defenders,
she'll be able to
protect your
hold
bombs from
blue
being defused
very
by
well by
attackers.
herself, and maybe even behind the bar and A site, but I'm very curious to see how Boise State's going to play this.
If you're a Bronco fan, I mean, your focus has got to be on Shuckswin, though, on the IQ. I mean, he was sort of just dragging his team along to the victory last time. Ended up with at least 15 eliminations at my last count on our first map. So if Shuckswin pops off, it's probably going to be a Cal round win. If Boise State can manage to shut down the IQ and get an elimination early on to Shuckswin, that's usually how the Broncos were able to answer back last time.
Yeah, and I think Cal was even planning for a CCTV defense, because they brought the Kali and the Thermite and even the Zafia. So I'm very curious how they're going to have to adapt this for the basement hold, as we're going to see Mira place both of her Miras watching blue.
Calibrating.
Mira is an op we have not seen, as she was banned last map, so I'm curious if it's going to shake up Cal's attack strat here, with IQ even hanging back still on the drone.
Like we do see Sherb taking a little bit of damage.
Yeah, Yeah, it looks like Boise's trying to adapt some of Cal's defense strats of getting a little bit peeky, getting a little bit cocky, and they actually end up getting value out of it, taking out the only hard breacher that Cal has. Cal having a misplay there, having their Thermite try to get in a peak fest with the roamers of Boise State.
Attackers recovered the bomb
See
diffuser.
there, Danny on the heartbeat. Gonna get a couple more information. Shuckswin still alive, though, has to be still nerve-wracking for any Bronco fan.
Deploying breach charge.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting matchup, even though it is a 5v4 situation. Shuckswin's the big contender here, and so is Danny, as he's actually been losing firefights. So I'm very curious if he's going to get value as he slowly watches this Twitch push him from the site. He should have been able to swing that as he heard her reload, but she is going to end up pushing him because she downed, sure, but Danny able to hold that angle, take her out, and revive his teammate.
You can see now, look like there is another member below him. You see Geo as well, about half, just a little bit above quarter. So Boise State Health Bar is definitely siding them and favoring what could be a Bronco third win.
Yeah, this would be very good for Boise to get a win on their first defense, especially in basement, as that would then allow them to get a lot of verticality from the other side. But we are going to see Shuckswin, the scariest thing for Boise State, get a pick on both the two roamers who are holding up in that second floor office.
Boise State has the health bar advantage, at least, with Ral and Geo Theo both damaged. You see all three members of Boise State full life, but Shuckswin, he's still full life, which means he's still going to be a thorn in the Broncos' side.
Yeah, and we are going to see the members of Cal pushing into sight from that memorial entry. And we're going to see Cali get aggressive with the diffuser and try to push Cashel, who is behind the bar in A site. Kind of a bad move on Cal's end, as we're nearing the end of the round. With 30 seconds remaining, Fox able to take out another member. Now it's all down to Shuckswin.
If there's anyone who can get an ace for Cal, it might be him, but unfortunately he hesitated about a half second too long on the peak. Good job by Juco to get that one back.
Yeah, they had an awkward stare down for about 2 seconds, and then they finally said, all right, let's start firing bullets at each other and end this round. So Boise State finally able to get their first win on defense and hopefully keep this momentum going so we can get to a map 3.
And there is the CCTV pick that you said both you and I think Cal both expected the first time from Boise State. So now that we're going there, be curious to see if Cal may be prepared for it, if they're going to outthink themselves once again.
Yeah, I'm very curious how we're going to see a change up here as we're seeing the Valkyrie, the Mirror come back once again, the Legion in anticipation for a possible garage push with a shield user maybe, and then we're also going to see the Jaeger and the Cade, so maybe Boise's going to use that Cade strat that I've been mentioning. This is a very good way to hold. We're going to see Cal also go for a Buck rather than an Asher Zofia to open up that floor. We're also going to see
bombs from being defused
that
by attackers.
Cali to try to get the wall unless they know the Cade strat, which she'll never get it. And we're also going to see a Twitch. Twitch can get rid of the Cades if they're not watching the drone holds. So this will be a very interesting play as Boise State has no drone denial.
You see if Boise State can tie it up. Unfortunately for them, there's not going to be a shield push coming out from Cal, so they're not going to get as much value as Cal got a couple times on that Legion, but still something maybe Boise State can pick up if someone's not paying attention.
Now we're going to see them open the traditional rotation from Catwalk into that B site. Hopefully we're going to see another rotation from Red Stairs into the B site as well. So I'm curious what this Mirror, if she's going to get as much value as she did last round, as she was able to take out the member of Cal Esports as they got very aggressive and push. We're going to see Sherb on that Legion do a quick run out to try and see if he can pick off one of the members of Cal who spawns main entrance, but he is unable to. We're going to see that IQ swapped off of Shuckwix. See if he'll get as much value as Shuckwix on it. We're going to see Shuckwix actually swap over to the Buck, so maybe they're going to go for more verticality play.
See, it looks 2 or 3 members of Cal go up onto the roof. A couple other ones hanging down on the first floor.
Yeah, we saw Danny on that Jaeger for a split second. He is actually all the way down in the basement, going for the long rotation all the way up through main stairs in the bathroom. So we'll see if he'll be able to get any value here. Juco actually got kind of excited and peaked an angle and lost most of his health. We're going to see 2 more members of Boise State fall to Shuckwix on this Buck. Shuckwix being a huge factor for Cal Esports here.
Different hops, same result. He picks up a double kill. You see Juco low as well. This time it's Cal with all of the advantage. Only Shuckswin a little bit low on health, but unfortunately for them, Danny's going to get one, so Boise State's still showing some life, going to keep things interesting.
Yeah, the life bars are definitely favoring the Gold Bears right now, as most members of Boise State are fairly damaged. Minus Fox, who's just holding this all by himself. We're going to see some Crossfire finally take down some of his life bar. We're going to see Danny finally rotate back to site, but get taken out by the rotation on red stairs as that mirror was finally opened. And I guess Fox did not hear it. He's going to end up taking out that thermite on the rotation. So now it looks like it is a 1v2 situation with the diffuser down, but we're going to see Callie manage to fire through the garage, I believe, and take out Fox on that mirror.
Cal Esports once again doing a really good job here. Going to push the advantage up against Boise State now 5-3. Curious to see what side Boise State wants to pick, but it really feels like Cal has been ready for anything Boise State wants to throw at him.
Yeah, Cal has been playing this very well. And even when Danny was roaming with that Jaeger, he wasn't able to get a ton of value. He was able to finally circle around through construction and take out Shuckwicks on that buck, but it just wasn't enough as he was then taken out by a member of Cal who was right above on red stairs. So far Boise's hasn't been doing very well on the CCTV, so we're going to see them actually swap over to gym and bedroom as they 6-pick off the bandit and go with a castle.
IQ back over to Shuckswin now, so he's just had the one round on the buck, but you can see there the 9-5-5 scoreline for him, once again leading Cal, and definitely the player who's making all the plays, sort of their top fragger. So got to be curious, Boise State's got to find a way to win those gunfights against him, because it's 2 rounds in a row now attacking. He's picked up a double kill that's gotten Cal either back in it or given them a huge advantage.
Yeah, we saw when Boise attacked this site that they pushed through the roof hatch in office and were able to get a lot of value through that. So I'm curious if they're going to try to hold it on their defense, or if they're going to try to hold maybe that west wall, as it's been very good for the attackers to open up that wall and get right into the weight room and plant on B. Or maybe they're going to go for a construction through study, or that office, I mean. So anything's really possible with Cal here, as they're also running a Jackal. Jackal's really anti-roamer, so maybe they're fearing the Danny rotation, even though he hasn't gotten the most value that we've wanted to see out of him.
Looks like for now, Boise State content leaving all 5 members up on that second floor, something we saw Cal do quite a lot on our first map, foregoing the roamer for just a very, very huge hold. Just looks like a hatch got blown off there, and it looks like verticality might be the Cal strat, at least for now.
Yeah, IQ already pushing through all of Garage, through Catwalk, right into that CCTV room. So I'm curious if she's going to win some more firefights for her team, as they've immediately opened up the west wall. I don't think they did it just in time, but Cade got it. So that is 1 less thermite charge down, but since he got too antsy and was moving too much, he does end up falling to the twitch on the window. Callie is able to remove his charge, and hopefully Thermite has 1 left to open up that wall. And we're going to hear it, and it just went off too. So Cal doing very well. We're going to see Sherb actually get a headshot onto that Twitch who was just peeking the window. It was a good pixel headshot by Sherb, so now the members of both teams are evened up.
And great job by Sherb to keep Boise State in it. Ultraset going to get one as well. So now the Broncos up 1, and they're going to take down Shuckswin as well, and you have to think that this could be the Broncos way back in it.
Yeah, with a 4v2 situation, we're not going to see Boise do what Cal does, which is get really aggressive on the remaining 2 members, as Callie is one of the members. She can instantly down any person she shoots with her sniper rifle, so it is a good person not to push. We're also going to see both of them actually on the west side of the building, so Boise, once they find them out, can immediately give up some of the places they're currently holding. So this should definitely be a Boise State round.
As you mentioned, you see no one on Boise State even moving a muscle. They're like, hey guys, let's just all hold. Cal's got to come to us. You see both members on top of each other. They're going to try and go through that charge and get onto the gym.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they're going to do here, as Fox has the wall in between him, but we do see Ultrascent holding that stairway. So it definitely comes down to this 2v1 situation. Are they going to go through bathroom and try to go for the plant? Are they going to try to push Ultra and Fox and go for an A plant? There's a lot of things that can go down here. So Cal taking it very slow as we near the 40-second mark.
See Ultraset and Ral right on opposite sides of the wall of each other. Boise State once again not willing to move. They're just going to wait for Cal to come to them.
And it looks like they're going to go for a weight room plan, as we see Callie kind of scouting out Sherb, I believe, but they're going to have to be prone, which is the weakest point. But we're going to see Ultraset actually go for the rotation as they pushed into weight, and with this super short, he is going to take out Callie. Ultraset definitely doing very well that round, taking out 3 members of Cal and winning the round.
Yeah, great job by Boise State. So we're taking a page out of the Cal playbook there for going the Roamers, letting the Golden Bears come to them, and at least shrinking the lead just a tad bit to 5-4. See if the Broncos can make it back to 5-5 here. So we're going to go back to the basement, it looks like.
Yeah, this map has definitely been a lot closer than the previous map of Theme Park. We are at 4-5 right now, and Boise seems to be going back to the basement, which has been their strongest defense so far. And so I really hope this might even go all the way to the max of the 13 or 15 rounds.
A couple of 6-picks coming out here from both sides.
Yeah, we're going to see Danny's 6-pick off the Pulse to Caveira, and then the Sledge to Hibana. So they're going for the extra hard breach in case Thermite is taken out again through that window engagement we saw on the main stairs. And then we're also going to see Pulse swapped off for Caveira. Caveira we have not seen. Her special ability of she has a suppressed pistol that can down somebody, and then if she gets up to that person, she can interrogate them and reveal the positions of the entire enemy team for, I think, 5 seconds or so. So if Danny is able to pull that off for the member of Cal Esports, who have been playing kind of separated a lot, they could definitely immediately win the round for Boise State. But it definitely comes down to, can Danny win those firefights that he's been constantly losing throughout this matchup?
Yeah, Danny's had a couple of nice rounds, and Cal's also had a couple nice rounds of shutting Danny down. And as you mentioned, something he also mentioned as well in the last cast at the Caveira interrogation, basically a round winner. So Boise State putting some eggs back in Danny's basket here to say, hey, if you get a pick, we can even things back up at 5-a-side.
Yeah, and I'm curious how much they're going to commit to either a kitchen defense or, say, a stockroom defense, as those are where the two hatches are for pushing into those basement sites. We're going to see Danny even rotate up to the bedroom, where no members of Cal seem to even be, along with Sherb, who is also holding kind of the cash construction doorway, and 2 members of Cal pushing that dirt hallway as well. So it seems like they're going to go for maybe a possible 3 through blue and 2 through dirt.
As looks like you can see there, Shuckswin has entered the building up on the 2nd floor. I don't think anyone on Boise State really too close to him for now, so it looks like still some droning left to go.
Yeah, Shuckswin versus Sherb and Danny is going to be an interesting matchup, seeing as he's both won it and lost it multiple times. So this could go any which way. We're going to see both members of Boise State at that top floor. Sherb not even looking towards Shuckwicks as he pushes through the doorway. Aiden's finally going to possibly notice him, or might have heard him through the slow walk cycle. He's going to back off, try to get the 2v1 situation, as both Boise State members are kind of just going to give it up and maybe rotate back to site.
He's still there. You see the 3 members of Boise State just hanging out down there in the basement. Nothing too crazy right now from Cal. Danny's still trying to find something on that Caveira.
Yeah, we did even see Callie take a little bit of poke damage. We are going to see Shuckwicks eventually push Sherb, and it's actually going to end up in a trade with a good refrag by Cal. We do see a possible interrogation, but he did not go for it. He'd rather secure the kill, and now he also has Diffuser with 1 member of Cal able to take out Danny. So now we are back to a 3v3 tied situation here.
The Diffuser going to be easily picked up by Cal, as you see all 3 members of Boise State sitting on the basement, so they're not going to be able to capitalize on that. And with just under a minute left, the Golden Bears are going to start sieging their way down onto the bottom floor.
Yeah, they're definitely going for a main stairs push and possibly go right into that A site rather than commit to blue with this Mira, as she's been quite a contender for the Boise State defense. The life bars do favor Boise State in this situation, and we're even going to see a failed denial against this Hibana on the hatch. So now they have an entry point into every site. Boise State really going to have to play this smart on their end if they want to win this round.
See, Fox got eyes on 1 person at least.
15 seconds.
Yeah, with 15 seconds remaining, Cal's going to have to get aggressive here and win those gunfights that they have been so confident in. And we don't even see the Mira have an angle. We're going to see the Super Shorty come out, but it does not get the down or confirmed kill. We're going to see the plant go down behind the bar, as it is a 2v1 situation with Fox. He's going to have to push this. He's able to take out that Twitch, so now it is 2 very low life bars against each other. Fox on the timer.
See there, he's got the slight life advantage, but he's got to try and find a way onto this point.
defenders have eyes on the diffuser.
Looks like they're even going to do a quick ring around the Rosie as Hibana rotates over to where Fox just was, and Fox is going to go for the defuse.
Bait in with the defuse. Nice job by Fox baiting in with the defuse. Gets the triple kill. We're going to tie things back up at 5-side here.
Yeah, this map a lot better for Boise State, not going with the 3-6 loss. Instead, they're going to keep it tied, going back to back to back to back on this defense. Boise State really pulling it together here.
Yeah, great job by Fox to get the triple kill. You saw nearly if Danny could have got that interrogation off, probably would have won the round as well for Boise State, but unfortunately Cal sort of swarmed in on him. So back to CCTV for the Broncos, which unfortunately has not been a friendly place for them.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they're going to change much up for this defense, maybe commit more to construction or garage rather than just holding on to cash room where they were before with that Mira and ending up losing it as well. So I'm curious with this Hibana as well, as we didn't see her last round, if she'll get more value seeing as Thermite falls a lot quicker than she does, and so they'll still have that hard breaching capabilities. We're not going to see any Zofia or anything for a verticality play trying to get rid of those electricity traps, as we're seeing a Cade instead of a Bandit. So maybe Cal kind of recognizes that they play Cade better than they do Bandit and not going for that commitment.
Again, great job by Boise State to even things out. These are the top 2 seeds in their group in the CR6 regular season. As we wrap things up, both teams undefeated. The Broncos currently trailing 1-0 in this best of 3, so there's some pressure here to win this map and send us to a map 3 for the first time. And last time we were in this situation, it was a flawless round for Cal, and we were tied at 3-a-side and thought that momentum might be up for grabs. We'll see if Boise State able to avoid that fate once again.
Yeah, we might see a possible spawn peek here from Juco, or he might just go throw his Valk cam out and then rotate back to site. We're going to see Sherb all the way over in stockroom trying to hold off that possible push. We're going to see Danny all the way over by Bar, seeing if he might get a member from rotation that possibly spawned warehouse. But it doesn't look like any members of Cal Esports spawned over there, but we are going to see Sherb end up losing the firefight to the Twitch in stockroom.
Like Sherb had actually gone out to peek, didn't find anything, and got taken down while he was running away. So now Boise State's got to be very, very wary. Looks like they are going to be able to cancel out the Thatcher breach there. Good job by Cade.
Yeah, but we are going to see the Valkyrie end up losing to the IQ, who just pushed right through garage. And once again, we're going to see Ultrascent doing very well, Cade tricking this wall, taking out those thermite charges as Thatcher is banned. But Cali doing very well to also get rid of Ultrascent's Cade charges. Very much a game back and forth, trying to open up and deny this wall, but it looks like he lost the battle, and they're going to open up this wall as it is a 2v4 situation.
Boise State going down off screen. You see a couple low health bars for Cal, so the Broncos could easily take this right back to a 2-on-2 very quickly.
Yeah, with Siege, it is definitely possible, as we saw Fox just watch the Thermite run across his field of view as he was holding the C4 the whole time. And it happens again, not having his gun out. He was able to take out the member as he's going to use that C4 and take him out. Now Hibana with the diffuser is not able to get on the site and get the plant off. We're going to see Fox try to go through the drone hold play and take out his feet. But able to run past it and survive. We're going to see Hibana go for the plant as the last 2 members of Boise State aren't able to go for the push here.
Staging area.
See Ultrascent trying to get onto the point. C4 not going to land. Diffuser still being planted by Hibana.
Attackers are activating the diffuser.
Looks like she's going to get it off too, putting Boise State on the timer. They have 40 seconds. Not anymore. They have even less time. It is a 1v3 situation, and Cal once again has the number of advantages, gets aggressive, and wins the round.
Okay, I mean, you even mentioned a couple of times. I mean, it did end up working out, but the Mira holding the C4 as the Thatcher ran back and then back across again. Did get the kill, but that did not probably is how Boise State drew it up. So now on match point, the Broncos got to see if they can send us here into overtime.
Yeah, it definitely comes down to Boise State here. If they are not able to win this round, Cal will take the game. So it is definitely, pressure is on for our Boise State team. And it looks like they're going to go back to gym and bedroom, which is the site they have won in the past, so they should feel very confident here. But now with the new Hibana that we haven't seen when they attacked last time, it could throw a wrench into the Boise State gears. So it'll be a definite interesting round for sure.
Yeah, Cal's had a lot of success with the Hibana. I think
Defenders
1-1
protect your
overall,
bombs
but
from
both
being
times they've
defused
been
by
able to
attackers.
plant or place the diffuser down. It was just a really nice clutch by Fox a couple rounds ago to keep Boise State in this point. So the Broncos look once again to try and get back to a tie game, try and force overtime. Be really curious to see how Cal wants to approach it and how Boise State wants to approach it. See if the Broncos take away the roamers and go just for the full hold like we saw last time.
Yeah, and we don't see a pulse this time. Boise did run the pulse last time and was able to get a ton of information on where the enemy was and some possible
10 seconds
through
left.
wall damage onto the attackers. So I'm curious to see by
5
not
seconds
running
left.
it if they're going to try to not get as aggressive and peek the corners that have cost them their lives in the
Moving out
past.
to locate a bomb and defuse it.
Kick things off here on match point. Cal, double match point really for them. They've already taken the first map in this best of 3, so they win this, they will win the series. These are the two teams at the top of their group, both undefeated in CR6, so Cal would basically all but guarantee themselves the #1 seed here with a victory. So Boise State with a lot to play for as we see a lot of members of Cal going on the roof, and we also see a charge going out as well.
Yeah, and this time we do see Shuckwicks on the sledge. So he's not IQ, he's not Buck, he's Sledge. This is a new op for him. We'll see if he'll be able to pull off the stats that he has in the past, and he immediately headshot Sherp, so it looks like he's going to be able to maintain his threat. And we're going to see Twitch actually even go and try to take out the wall. He is able to take out one of the Cade charges on the wall, but he still had one left, so it's going to take out, I think, one of the thermite charges. We aren't able to see how many gadgets he has. And with the Cali, it's very much going to be an interesting game here as they are constantly bandit tricking. Ultrasen doing very well on it too, getting a ton of value for his team, able to deny this.
Attackers have located a bomb.
But it sounds like they are going to open up that wall eventually. So now Boise State going to definitely hold their angles and try to win this defensive round. We're going to see Danny even up the team numbers, taking out that Hibana. And we're also going to see Shuckwicks fall very low as he has to push through. And we're going to see Fox able to secure that kill. So now Boise State on the up and up.
Broncos up one member, and especially with Shucks being taken down, top fragger for Cal. Got to feel even better about that one. You can see Fox seeing someone there through the mirror wall, not able to get the shot on him, but at least giving his team some information. C4 going to go out, so he won't hold on to it this time. Good retreat there by a member of Cal.
Yeah, Boise playing very slow, very safe, buying a lot of time trying to time out Cal as they have the +1 member on their team. Definitely a number advantage. We're going to see Danny holding that doorway, trying to blow away whoever charges through that doorway. Very curious to see how Cal's going to push this. So they have two members watching that hatch with Fox and his Vector, one of the highest fire rate defender guns in the game. So it's going to be definitely a losing battle, but one shot, headshot, anything is possible.
Yeah, 40 seconds left, and you see a great pick there by Fox. It's almost like he called it Brenner Bear. Going to get one. Is he able to get another one? Not quite, but his teammate's going to be able to pick it up. That's Danny getting the double kill. One member left for Cal. He's caught in a place he doesn't want to be, but he is able to get one back. So it's only going to be a 1v3.
Yeah, that Thermite played it very well there as the K tried to swap to a secondary, but instead he just pushed it and won that firefight. But it looks like JUCO is able to take him out on the rotation and win the round for Boise State, evening it up, making it no longer match point. Boise State still in this.
Yeah, great job by Boise State to get back in it. So we'll head to overtime now. First 1-2-8 going to be our victor. And I'll be curious to see how Boise State wants to do on defense. As we should be, back in the basement has been pretty successful for them. So they could even put themselves up on match point here.
Yeah, Boise State definitely clawing and teething, trying to win this map so they can get to a map 3 and not go defeated anymore. They want to keep that streak going, and we're going to see Sherp go back to his comfort pick on the Maestro, which we haven't seen him on at all so far. We're going to see Danny on the Pulse, JUCO on the Castle, Ultrasen on the Caden, Fox on that Mirror again. Fox got a lot of value off that Mirror previous site. Danny possibly 6-picking to the Mute, got a lot of value taking out their drones. I think it's a very smart play as the drone game's been very heavy in these higher play levels. And then we're also going to see Shuckwicks go back to the Buck. As the Sledge didn't get a ton of value, he was able to get that quick headshot under Sherp at the beginning of the other round. But he got a lot more value off the Buck, so I'm happy he's swapping back to something he's more strong with. We're going to see the same site again because it's overtime. They can go back to the site that they just won. So hopefully Boise State is able to repeat this win and make it match point for them.
This has been another successful site for Boise State, so we're curious to see how Cal wants to attack. Didn't seem like Cal swapped off anything besides onto that buck, as you mentioned, Brenner Bear. So I'll be really curious to see how the Golden Bears want to do. It looks like for now you see them droning out the basement. Unfortunately, not going to find much of anything there.
Yeah, and this Callie also hasn't been the most useful. She is able to deny the cave tricking on that west wall right outside B in the hallway. But other than that, she's not able to really get a ton of value with her sniper rifle or even her secondary for that. She's just used for her utility. So I'm very surprised that they're continuing on with this, as they could easily push up through one of the other sides of the main stairs. And since they know they can win these gunfights, as we saw so clearly in this last map, that they're not really playing to that strength. They're definitely going for a more traditional push here. And I kind of wish they would change it up, because I really enjoyed seeing those constant switch-ups.
Now Cal's going to go all up on the roof. Ultra doing a nice job with the Cade there, denying any of the hard breaches.
Yeah, this game of like cat and mouse between the electricity and these thermite charges have been so good to watch, as they have been playing it very well for both sides. We're going to see Sherb on that Maestro pop off and take out the Twitch.
Watching the cat and mouse game, as you mentioned, Brenner Bear. And for the most part, Boise State's had the advantage. They did force Cal, as you mentioned, to pick up a second hard breacher. Looks like they've finally given up on that for now.
Yeah, Ultrasen getting value time after time, denying those thermite charges with his both Cade and Bandit tricking, doing better than the Cal Bandit, as he died to the thermite charge the one time. So I'm very happy for Boise with this defense so far. And they're even going to manage to take out Shuckwicks. Danny getting a ton of value over in that cache/construction hole. Boise State doing very well in a 5v2 situation already by minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah, Boise State right now looking like they're ready to go on to a map 3. You'd have to think that the 5v2 and the high health bar should easily favor the Broncos here. You see some damage coming out onto Fox. He's able to survive, though.
Yeah, it looks like Cal is finally wising up and saying, hey, he didn't reinforce this wall. We can still shoot his feet underneath the Mira. So he was able to get a little bit of poke damage onto Fox, getting him below that 75% mark, with both two remaining members of Cal at full HP, but Boise still has the 3 at full, so it's definitely an interesting turnout how this could go.
Yeah, we're going to see underneath the bomb site going to be opened up. Cal starting to run out of time. Boise State even can play for the timeout, as you mentioned, Brenner Bear. This Broncos team, they're not going to get aggressive when they have the man advantage. They're more than willing to let Cal come to them and let the Golden Bears be the one to make the mistake.
Yeah, they definitely play the defense smarter than I think Cal does, but since Cal can win those firefights, they play to their strengths, so I think you do you, and it's been working for them, so I will not complain whatsoever. But with very little time remaining, Cal has to make a move here, unless they want to just give the round and maybe just go for the match point win.
5 seconds to go.
Yeah, you'd have to think it looks like at this point they are going to do just that, just to prevent Boise State from getting the flawless there. So nice timeout by the Broncos. They're going to put themselves on to match point.
Yeah, even though this isn't Call of Duty, that Thermite, I guess, just wanted to save his KD for that situation, so he did. And now the overtime match point really coming down for Cal Esports. This is a 7-6 game. They are doing so much better than they did on Theme Park, so really hats off to Boise State here.
It does look like with the swap in overtime, the CCTV not friendly for Boise State defending and not really friendly for it attacking either. And that's what the Broncos are going to have to do here to wrap up this match and set us to a map 3, as that is Cal's choice of defense.
Yeah, Boise's been doing very well on their defensive side. That's where they've won the most rounds. So now putting them back on attack, we could see just an overtime game point match here rather than Boise State winning here on the attack, because they are attacking the CCTV cache, which I do believe they were never able to win on attack. So this is definitely going to be a all or nothing situation for Boise.
You have the Monty for sure, which has been something Boise State's had some decent success on. So you have to like their chance, if you're a Bronco fan, of setting us to a map 3 in this battle between the top seeds.
Yeah, and we are seeing 2 ops come out that they haven't been played very much so far. We're going to see the Wamai and the Lion, as Fox 6 picked off the Nomad to the Lion. Lion very good at denying those roamers from constantly moving, and if they do, you'll know they're there. So This is definitely going to be an interesting push from both sides, as they're also bringing back the Capitao, who wasn't able to get a ton of value, but Wamai is the perfect counter to Capitao. So it's really just down to bad timing. And with no IQ able to take out those Wamai Frisbees, I'm very curious to see how this plays out for both teams.
We wrap down the prep phrase here. Boise State trying to force us to a map 3. Cal trying to force us to round 15, the true winner take all. I'll be curious. At least for now, Boise State not going to take any damage right off the spawn, which has been, you know, a thorn in their side a couple of times so far against Cal on this map.
Yeah, I think Cal's finally saying, like, all right, we can lose this here, so let's just play super defensive, super angry. We're not going to peek anything. We're not going to get kind of cocky here and spawn peek and try to take out a member and lose one of our own. They're going to take this seriously and hopefully win this round and make it to the overtime game point that will make it all that much more interesting.
Yeah, well, nothing better than the 2 top seeds. Of course, you'd love for it to be in a game 3 if you're a Bronco fan, that the 2 top seeds go all the way to round 15. As we see, Sherb's going to drop down the human drone himself. He's got a couple members backing him up as well.
And we're going to see that Cal is actually holding the garage very strongly and not holding that west side of the building almost at all. They're going to go even for a possible A push, but that smoke able to deny the Monty a ton, buying time for his team.
Extra by time for Cal to somewhat rotate over. A couple members of Boise State behind Sherb. Seen a couple times as well where there's just been the members behind the shield have just been shot down. Unfortunately, can't protect everyone, so Boise State also got to be careful of that.
Yeah, the biggest issue so far is that they don't have a Zofia or Ash to destroy that deployable shield, so now they're just pushing against one of Cal's strongestly held angles. So things not looking the best for Boise, as even the Monty has taken a little bit of damage, but it still matters when you're in a firefight.
You can see basically the whole Cal team is looking at Sherb right now. No one can really do anything, unfortunately, on either side, but Boise might be able to find a different angle in while Sherb's running that distraction.
Yeah, and we are getting down to a minute here. Boise might start having to make some moves, because we know Cal can definitely time them out, as we've seen in the past, and this Aiden on this Monty needs to start committing to something, because I don't think he can pull off another quadra here.
Attacker's bomb diffuser
Once again, unfortunately, the shield not able to save Juco, so now Boise State down a member and running out of time. Did see it looked like someone on Boise State was coming all the way from the basement as well.
Yeah, they're simply running out of time. 30 seconds remain, and members of Boise State are falling left and right, and they're not even able to win these gunfights either against Cal, so it looks like this might be a Cal win, and we're going to go to overtime game point.
Izzy Sherb is low. Ultraset the only full health member. A couple of low-ish health bars on the side of Cal, but right now it's up to Ultraset for the ace. He's not going to get it. Cal's going to get off a flawless round and force us all the way to our winner-take-all round 15.
This matchup has been fantastic. Now, the first map wasn't the best, but it was a good warm-up for Boise. As we've seen, they have definitely come more alive on this clubhouse match, bringing it to the overtime game point. I say game point because it comes down to this. This determines whether or not we go to a map 3 or not. Cal definitely has to take this super seriously, as they've done well on attacking, but Boise State is strongest on their defense. So we're gonna have to see some value come out of Boise State here for this defense if they want to continue this matchup and continue their unlost streak.
Yeah, we go back to the basement, another great spot for Boise State. So we'll see if they're able to hold the Church and Arsenal room. They've been really, I mean, as you mentioned, this is probably Boise State. If you go into a round 15, this is what you want to see for a Bronco fan. They're defending. They get to go to the basement. And if Danny on the Kavera can get that down, it easily could be a win for Boise State.
This will be an interesting matchup because we have Kavera into a Jackal. Jackal's, if not the perfect counter to Kavera, as he can just see her footprints no matter where she goes. So unless Danny is able to pick him off or stay away from him this entire time, it's not looking good for him here, as he wasn't able to get even an interrogation last time. So it really comes down to Shuckwicks, their best player, versus Danny, our best player, in this kind of matchup here. And then also with this defense, we're going to see a lot of the same from the past on this basement hold with the Mirror, the Castle, the Cade, and the Jaeger.
5 seconds to go.
So Danny and Shuckwicks kind of the main factors here. and whoever falls first might determine who takes this game.
Yeah, as we do kick things off, just like once again, we'll have a couple members of Boise State up on the top floor, and then everyone else going to be holding down the bomb site. Doesn't look like it's Sherba Danny once again. Ultrashet retreats down back.
Yeah, this will definitely be an interesting hold, as we've never seen Cal even push blue in the past. It seems they always go for kind of a possible memorial take right outside the A-bomb. So maybe they'll change it up and go blue. Maybe they'll go for a kitchen. We don't know, but anything's possible with Cal with how they play. And I'm very curious to see if Boise State's going to be able to quickly adapt as they have.
Yeah, you see Sherb and Danny up on the top floor. A couple members of Cal have pushed in as well. Aquatic let us out on the outside. Winner take all here. Cal will take the series. Boise State would force us to a game 3 here as we wrap up the CR6 regular season between 2 of our top seeds in this group. But Danny going to have to retreat down.
Yeah, so now it looks like it's between Sherb and this member of Cal, as he might be suddenly getting pinched as he's taken out by the many members of Cal surrounding him. Looks like they're going to go for a top-down push and clear out these roamers that have been such an issue for them in the past. Danny, however, with that shotgun is going to able to down one of the members and take out Shuckwicks. So he's able to take out his counter, but then ends up falling to the Habana, who was rotating around through the bar. So Cal playing this very well, and Boise State now down 2 members to Cal's 1.
You see a couple of very, very low health bars for Cal. So Boise State with their 3 full health members should be actually leading the health game there, though they are, as you mentioned, down a member, so they'll have 1 less gun. But you still like the Broncos' chances here, as Cal has not found a way down to that basement just yet.
Yeah, it seems that Jugo's going to try to go for a C4 throw as soon as the hatch goes and maybe take out the Habana, but he's not going to get any value off of it, sadly. So this really comes down to, can they win these firefights while Cal just pushes it?
Under a minute left. You can see the first couple members of Cal appearing on the basement.
Yeah, they're definitely going for the same push that has been so strong for them in the past. That memorial take from the west side has been their strongest suit. So when it comes down to the game point, they're going to play to their strengths, and the Habana is going to be able to win that firefight against Ultrasen. We're going to see Jugo even take a shot from Cali, which definitely should not be happening, but he got it off. And now that they opened up that wall into A site, Boise State not looking too good here, with both members having no health remaining and 3 members of Cal remaining, and they end up winning with Cali just rushing Fox again.
Yeah, Cal, once they got the number advantage, as you talked about, they love to be aggressive. That's going to be your end of round replay, and a hard-fought victory indeed for Cal Esports. An 8-7 win. That would mean the Golden Bears will have a 2-0 win over Boise State. Still have not yet to see a map 3 in our Rainbow Six games here on the stream. But like you mentioned, Brenner Bear, great job by Boise State on that second map. Several times you thought they might be able to force it to a map 3. I mean, there's a reason both these teams are at the very top of their bracket. So Boise State not going to get the 1 seed, but probably shaping up, you have to think, for a 2 seed. And definitely some things to learn as they head into the playoff season of CR6.
For sure, Boise can learn a ton from this, and so can Cal as well. As we've seen, Monty was super strong. Once they lost the Mozzie, they didn't do as well, as Boise State was able to utilize their drone pushes a lot more. So I think Boise definitely learned a lot more of banning Mozzie's not the worst idea, especially when he has 2 unique guns that are so strong that definitely won them that theme park. I'm very happy from this showcase. Yes, Boise lost. Yes, it's heartbreaking, but I think they learned a ton from this, and I hope to see what they do in the future.
Yeah, we've talked about it time and time again with Boise State Esports. Sometimes a loss is even better than a win, especially against a top team like Cal, probably a team you'd see as you get deeper into playoffs. So not something you want, but something you can definitely learn from, which is what I'm sure the Boise State Blue team will do. Well, that will wrap things up. I have to officially give the win over to California, as we had Boise State taking on 3 California schools. UCI and Cal victorious. The Broncos did take down USC, though, so I'm sure a bunch of other California schools still happy to see the Trojans fall, as they like to be a thorn in everyone's side down there in Southern California. But that will wrap things up for us. You want to make sure you stay tuned, drop a follow on the channel. We've got action coming up all this week, including the Mountain West Finals in League of Legends tomorrow against Nevada. But for Brenner Bear, I am Michael Fish Fisher. Thanks to everyone who was in chat. Thanks to production and the Overwatch team who was on stage earlier. It's been an awesome night despite the losses for Boise State. Have a good one, and we'll see you guys next time. extra gun. Unfortunately, they're going to have to hand that one right back to Cal. They're going to go back to 4-4.
Yeah, 2 members in the garage with no members of Boise State able to push it with them. They're not going to be able to see Danny come from behind them, but it looks like he's not even going to get a single kill out of that engagement as both Ultra Saint and Sherb get 2 of them. We are going to see him finally take out the last roaming member of Cal. Running out of time with 45 seconds remaining, but they are taking control of second floor very quickly as we're going to see Danny finally able to take out that IQ. So now it is a 44 situation. He's going to be able to take out another member of Cal with his shotgun. So now it is a 4v3 situation, but Danny does not have the health for this engagement, even though he is able to get the triple onto Cal.
They once again not willing to move. They're just going to wait for Cal to come to them.
And it looks like they're going to go for a weight room plan as we see Callie kind of scouting out Sherb, I believe, but they're going to have to be prone, which is the weakest point. But we're going to see Ultra Saint actually go for the rotation as they push into weight. And with this super short, he is going to take out Callie. More value for his team. Now we're going to see Aiden on this Monty able to finally get 2 eliminations for his team, possibly 3 here. He does not have Diffuser, but now he's getting pushed by the 2 remaining members, or 1 remaining member of Cal.
1 left. Great job by Sherb on, as you mentioned, Brenner, one of his favorite operators.